Nope.
The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies. Tape never lies.
Starts now.
The tape never lies.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go. Trading up.
100.
Yes. What? Oh my God. Here it is. Or just recording.
The tape never lies.
The people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stuck like the two and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be me, we added the barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool, drunk texting, flexing on the truth, cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Jimmy. What we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it.
1 point,
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Bears never lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo! This is Claudio the Barber, and this is TTNL's Keeping It 100, the best Bears show on the planet, bar none. Well, the season ended like it started with a loss to the Packers. Fuck the Packers. But the offseason has started. Getsy's out and Flus is in, and there is much more to talk about. So let's bring on your guy, Shane, the smartest man, Marsaw, to get it started.
You're not Phil, though. Look at that.
No, we don't know where Phil is.
Maybe we do this, can't do that. Maybe we do this. Yeah. Mr. Atoshin picked the shittiest time of the year to go on IR and test COVID positive. And he's struggling right now. So everybody out there listening, send our guys some positive thoughts, because he's actually really going through it quite a bit. So
if he's missing this show, you know he's not feeling good.
Oh yeah, I got to exchange some texts with him after he woke up. He was down and out for most of the day, and he's like, dude, I didn't think I could feel any fucking worse. And then I see this goddamn team, what they do, and he goes, it pushes me down even lower. So
I know. Did you hear there was some press conferences?
Yeah, I saw. I saw that somebody.
I didn't know
if I could look back there. Yeah, I'll star it. That somebody's like, "Did you guys watch the presser today?"
Yeah, there was a couple of them.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do here. I got a DM on Twitter like 6 hours after the fact. It's like, dude, they're bringing Flus back. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I had no idea, but no, everybody's fired up.
what's your reaction, real quick, to
it's been my gut. It's been my gut.
The Flus thing specifically.
Yeah, it was my gut that he was coming back. I thought the last 10 days to 2 weeks, you could really tell in his demeanor. I thought he was a little chippy with some of the media, and not chippy in a, just chippy in a confident way, that he knew that you guys are talking down to me a little bit, as they should. And he knew something. So the wholesale changes on offense, I mean, I think everybody understands, but I brought this up with our patrons when we went live during the presser to break it all down. And I'm like, please explain to me how you can get up there and say that, Justin Fields showed improvement and you really love where he is. But, oh, by the way, we just fired his quarterback coach and offensive coordinator and, wide receivers coach. So there's a lot of double talk going on. That was expected. I thought Ryan Pace. Ryan Poles fumbled a couple of times. Courtney Cronin, you got to give her a ton of credit. She put him in the crossfire there and held him when he said, you talking about the 4 quarterbacks. And he's like, oh, I didn't say that. Well, he 100% did say 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah. You could tell he's like,
oh,
she asked him that. He's like, he knew he fucked up. Yeah. He knew he
absolutely. Fucked up. Absolutely. But, it's just more of the same old, Claude. It's, oh God, we got somebody in the green room back there. I'm not even sure if I should add her.
Let her have her moment. I mean,
add her to the show.
She should have her moment. I mean,
all right.
She's a true fan.
All right. Sun's got to shine on a dog's ass sometime, Sheree, right?
What is up? Okay, fuck the Bears.
Yeah.
Go Blue. Michigan versus everybody. National championships.
And speaking of that, did you just hear the other breaking news?
I did.
Alabama is in contract negotiations right now with Jim Harbaugh to become the next head coach.
Imagine that. I mean,
I would do my own fucking show.
You must be on cloud 9 though, Sheree, right?
I mean, I was until today.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Bears do that.
Bears can ruin a fucking wet dream, can't they?
It's Sheree, you know how it is. You've been here long enough with us. It's the same old. The Bears don't believe in perfect alignment. They had everything at their disposal, and they resort to the norm. They resort to what the Bears do, and that is to be just like their head coach. They resort to being passive and, we'll see. They're a franchise that's a year or 2 or 3 too late rather than a year early. And like I said, it's
I was gonna say you called it. You already saw the writings on the wall, and they always stick with tradition. Oh, I'm sorry, Cars. Tell Maisie that was not me. I just saw Cars comment.
Oh, I didn't. Steph says hi. Yeah.
Tell Steph hi and tell Maisie that was not me.
Yeah, Sheree. I don't swear like that, do I, Maisie? That'd be bullshit if I swore in front of kids.
But no, you called it. The Bears are always preaching tradition, but the tradition has gotten us one Super Bowl in the modern era. So
exactly. It's like it would be like having a Notre Dame fan come out here and tell you how fucking dominant and relevant they are. It's the same fucking story in Chicago. You know what I mean? It's the same goddamn story, and it's nauseating. And what I am fascinated by is we talk about the both sides of the fence here. The quarterback debate, and you go on Twitter during and after the presser, and 50% of the fan base that are pro Justin are, you watch that presser, it's clear as day Justin's coming back. Well, I watched that and I didn't think that at all. And I'm looking at it from both sides of the fence. I don't think that there was anything there that said Justin Fields is. Now, I would have been, if they didn't clear out the entire offensive coaching staff, essentially, I would have said that was more in line with keeping Justin Fields. But something to keep in mind. Matt Eberflus's agent, Trace Armstrong. Ryan Pohl's agent, Trace Armstrong. Oh, it goes further now. Lincoln Riley, the head coach of USC, his agent, Trace Armstrong. Who's Lincoln Riley's coach who's his quarterback at USC? Caleb Williams. You have your direct connect. You have your direct channel right to the head coach that's been with him to get and it's like we said, this is not coming down to tape with Caleb. And you heard Ryan Poles speak on that 2 or 3 times. We got to learn who the man is, see if he's a leader. To me, that was him sending a loud message to Caleb Williams' camp. You better come prepared to these meetings. You better show up and be ready to go. Because if you're not, we have options. So they have their direct connect there through Trace Armstrong to see exactly who he is.
But they're not going to tip their hand on whether they're going to keep.
Nor should they,
because before the draft, I mean, that's like you're playing poker. You're not going to let people know you got what you got or what you're going to do. So obviously they're going to keep it vague and keep it kind of in the middle, and we're going to obviously have our opinions, and we'll just have to find out in April. But
right, and just as like Cars says here in the chat, it's telling that they kept Chris Morgan to keep the continuity there. Now, while I think that the offensive coordinator should have a big role in that, depending on what they want to do. But this is what the Bears do. The Bears seemingly do everything ass backwards, and that's the way that they've always done things. So we should expect no different. But Cars has got a perfect point there. To me, I didn't take anything out of that presser that said, "Oh, it's clear cut. We're rolling with Justin."
Yeah. Now, I've heard on the radio, I've heard from a few people throwing this out there, which is obviously a possibility. Do they keep Justin and draft a quarterback?
How makes absolutely no sense.
Oh, I'm not saying that's what I think they're going to do. I'm just putting it out there because that is what some people in the media and people that support
I just think it's a tough
are saying that bring in Caleb Williams, keep Justin, let Justin play, let Caleb sit behind him. That's you think not even no possibility.
And just like this, I mean, Grumpy, it's Lincoln Riley is not going to leave being the head coach of the USC Trojans to be the offensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's not. I mean, he would be taking a pay cut, a big one. So it's just I don't see that at all. But in terms of what you're saying, Claude, going out, listen, if you're putting all of your resources to bring in a first round quarterback and all of the work that you do on him, first off, I understand the competition part of it. Mm-hmm. But if I'm Justin Fields, it has nothing to do with competition because you've already told me what direction you want to go by drafting the first round quarterback. Now, if I'm Justin Fields or his representatives, I'm demanding a trade immediately if that's their course of action. And I would not blame Justin. I would fully support Justin in that all the way. It would create a media. Can you imagine how the media is in Chicago right now? Yeah, can you imagine the first day of veteran minicamp or training camp when Caleb Williams and Justin Fields show up? I mean, it's just it's creating even more of a circus. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, what about later in the draft? Bringing it and picking somebody later on in the draft. Maybe there's a prospect that they like. Do you think that's a possibility?
I just don't see, like I said, you guys have heard me talk. If he checks out off the field and as a leader and you sit down with Caleb Williams and you believe in the kid, to me on tape, it's not close. It's not close.
You take him.
You don't look back, and that is your focus. Now, if you don't believe in him as a leader, I totally understand. You can't if you're like, oh well, maybe we can. No, then you have to know. You have to.
That's what I mean. I got to say about Fields that Well, I personally feel very confident. Obviously he's got issues in the pocket and he's got some issues playing the game that he needs to work on. But a leader of the guys on the field.
100%.
The players love him. He shows it on the field. He works hard. So that is obviously something that you have already in a guy. So Caleb Williams is obviously a big question mark with that.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know, Cherie, do you have I know you're a Justin fan, but what's your thought?
I am. Surprisingly, I was with you guys the whole way with, moving on. But honestly, because we kept Flus, I would really hate to bring a rookie quarterback into this situation. I don't think it makes sense because he couldn't develop Justin. So what makes us thinking, like, I know there's even a speculation if he drafts a new quarterback, is he really a lame duck? Like, is he just a one and done? That's a valid question.
Right. And I mean, the vote of confidence that he got today, I would have to say 100% he's not a lame duck. I mean, Ryan Poles definitely to me seems all in. You heard Kevin Warren come out and talk about the Rams, and he's like, it took two or 3 years. Now in that window, is Kevin Warren saying 2 or 3 years from when Ryan Poles got here with Matt Eberflus, or is he saying 2 or 3 years since he took over?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, either way, with Caleb Williams, with Justin Fields, you have to be in 100% contention for the playoffs next year. That's the bar. It's the bar. You could think that maybe it's unrealistic. I happen to believe that there's a lot of talent here in Chicago on the Bears team, and that's what pisses me off so much about Poles, because, again, like I said, in moments of chaos, you revert to what you're comfortable with. And with Matt Eberflus, that is being a passive coach. He is. You saw it on display in Green Bay. He's a passive coach. He's not fake aggressive like Matt Nagy was, but I just don't believe in him as the guy that's going to get the Bears where we want to go. And that's, to me, you had Jim Harbaugh available. You had Mike Vrabel available. 2 much better coaches than Matt Eberflus.
And that's what's so frustrating about this. This was the window. Like, it's in the past when we've been ready for the head coach market, the people that were available aren't the caliber. Because, I mean, think about it. Even Bill Belichick may be available. Pete Carroll, not saying that that's a guy that you may want, but these are actually quality proven head coaches that are available this year. So you decided to stick with this guy who in the last 2 years, we haven't seen the progression of the offense. Yeah, like everybody keeps making the argument that the defense improved, but football is played on both sides of the ball. So the fact that the defense isn't improved, but the offense is a regress, that's not balancing out,
Right. No, I totally hear you. And I just kind of looking over the chat, and I know, guys, we have a whole long ways to go to get into the quarterback talk, and I know it's inevitable, but again, some of the things we've addressed so many times in terms of the team ownership bullshit, doesn't want to play for the Bears bullshit, and it's just listen to what we've addressed those 1,000 times, guys, 1,000. And somebody's in there saying that Caleb Williams is too small to play in the NFL. Bullshit. Just admit that you don't like Caleb Williams. That's fine. Just don't make shit up along the way to try to prove some narrative that you're pushing. Just say, I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. I don't like him. It's much easier. You don't have to make stuff up along the way. We're not pushing narratives here, even though people say that we do. We're not. We want what is best for this team, what's best for the Bears. And today, I think the Chicago Bears made a mistake. I do.
Big one.
Yeah. So, but like I said, guys, we're going to have a little bit different of a show. No DDP tonight. We pivoted with Adam Rank. Didn't really want to have him on the show without Phil. I just think it makes for a much better show with all 3 of us going back and forth. And so he's going to come on with us next week. And then, start next week, we're really going to start ramping up our off-season talk. And like I said, scan that QR code right there that you see. Go over, sign up, become a patron, because we are cutting tape. We're filling up the library with all of these quarterbacks, and we're going to have some really in-depth analysis on all of these guys. And it'll make you a better, smarter fan and get you more prepared for this draft that's coming up the end of April. But, yeah, that's how I am. But
got a couple super chats. Want me to throw them up there now?
Yeah, throw them up there.
Okay. So Isaac Siegel.
Isaac Siegel, $20. This is a bad mentality from Bears unless they get Saban. Yeah, Saban is not coming to the Chicago Bears. I'll tell you that.
No, definitely not.
Unless they get Saban or something definitely not coming as a defensive coordinator. And a presumptive all-star OC that can rise above the ineptitude. We'll be the same sea of mediocrity next year. Love y'all. Hit the like button.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nick Saban it was Alabama or retirement. So I had heard a couple of whispers that he was not a fan whatsoever of the portal and the NIL stuff back and forth. So I wasn't at all surprised there. He's definitely not taking a DC job. He's 72 years old. I don't see that. You don't come from being the GOAT of college football to we got some breaking news here.
We got to bring this drop out of the woodwork there. Where is it? Is it still on there?
I don't know. He hasn't been here in so long. Let's.
What?
Hey.
Nerd alert!
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, look, he's even so in vacation mode. He's got us stuck on vertical and not horizontal.
He doesn't care.
Hold on. Let's make sure I get my good side there.
Yes.
There we go.
Cars, my man. What up?
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Great day, isn't it? Wonderful day.
Yes.
Wonderful day. Full of sunshine and rainbows and happiness all the way around. Yeah.
The only thing that could have been better is we had Greg Braggs as a host, but then Cherie wasn't going to show up, and you probably wouldn't have been here either.
Who?
Yeah.
Right.
This is a better lineup. This is a better lineup.
So, cars. I mean, in your heart of hearts, I think we all wanted the same thing. We wanted the clean break, but deep down inside, my thoughts. I just felt like they were going to bring him back and make some offensive changes. But speak about what you saw today and kind of what unfolded.
I think it's really interesting because I think, one, it puts a big light on Poles for the rest of his time here, because there's no way that Warren lets you make that move unless you basically are willing to go down with that ship. So I think that to me is the most interesting thing.
Yep.
But I don't take anything out of it. You can't tell me that Fields is coming back or not based on that presser. I think
totally agree.
But to the Chris Morgan point, I think, when we look at pressure numbers, with the same line of Justin versus Bagent and how much better they looked, pressure wise with that, I think they've got a lot of faith in him and the talent, and they're going to either look at schematically and player wise how to do it. There were three options, right? The worst option was bring everybody back, and we all knew that would be the worst case. And so in typical Bears form, they split in the middle and go, well, we'll just get rid of this.
Yep.
That way we still get what we kind of want, and some fans might be happy that the bad guys are gone. But it's awful.
Well, speaking of the worst possible options, we're down a guy, so I really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel. Get people. We have we don't even have an intro for this guy.
Well, hold on. I'm going to let him talk, but let me go on a rant for 15 to 20 minutes, and then while he's in the green room, and then we'll work on it for sure.
He just got done clearing out his garbage disposal, so he wants to come here and talk. Look at this guy, Ryan Cox, the TTNL patron OG.
Yes.
Look at that top row. It is the vaunted text chain in all of its glory across the top.
That nobody else is involved in. Maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're still talking Bears. But Ryan, how excited are you about what happened today?
I'm just kind of tired, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sleepy after all that. I mean, Shane, you kind of said it when you were covering it earlier today. There was no surprise there.
No.
Really, it just is what it is. And we kind of knew this was what was going to happen, and it happened. And it's the Chicago Bears. We can pretty much predict just about anything at this point because they are. So here we are.
I know, man. I hear you. It's this is what I talk about. You guys have heard me say this on the show 100 times. As Bears fans, you draft Kevin White in the first round and you get excited because it's an offensive weapon. You're like, ooh, wide receiver 1, that's secured for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? It's all good. Oh man, we moved off Lovey. Lovey couldn't fix the offense. Oh man, Mark Trestman, baby. He's going to fix it all.
He had a parade plan.
Yes.
A parade plan. We're in this. The Super Bowl, here we come.
Super Bowl, yeah. But it's a lot like this. And listen, I'm not out on Ryan Poles. He's made some mistakes. I think he made a major one today. I really do. I like some of the things that he's done, but I'll tell you what, my confidence level in Ryan Poles moving forward is not where it was yesterday, 48 hours ago. It's just not. Now, Kevin Warren, I'm even more disappointed in him because when you're telling me about a team from 25 years ago that's your blueprint, well, guess what, homie? This is a completely different NFL from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And you're talking about the 1999 Rams that won the Super Bowl? Come on. I got to call bullshit on that. Where's Marshall Faulk? You know what I mean? Where's Orlando Pace?
You're not saying Khalil Herbert in that same breath, so that's mistake number one. And clearly, Braxton Jones is Orlando Pace. So, and unfortunately for us, DJ Moore has to be Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce combined, basically, in that scenario.
Yeah, and it's just they had Cars. How many years have you and I talked about them stripping this down the right way? The roster, shipping guys with salaries. And then Ryan Poles came in and he did that. And we're like, wow, finally somebody is doing, but then they were never aligned right. They bring in, Bill Polian and these guys, and then they bring in the GM, and then they say, here's a list of coaches. You pick from these, and then comes the president after all of that. It's just, come on. We know the proper way that this should fall, and the Bears have looked at that over and over and over again. And they didn't work the first following it. Right.
It didn't work the first 14 times, but this time I've got a feeling it's going to be different. I mean, you guys saw that, right? Like, who are the only offensive coordinators that we've had for 3 years in a row? And it's John Shoup.
Yep.
And
when John Shoup is one of your longest tenured guys, you got problems.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
But Ryan, let me ask you, because
you're muted, Ryan. I think you're talking, but you're not. You're muted.
He's a rookie. It's fine. We'll give him a break. What was your takeaway from the presser in terms of the expected quarterback? Everybody there's so many people on Twitter and even in this chat tonight thought that it was a complete, this is Justin's team. They doubled down on him, and I said I did not come away with that at all. But you speak on what you saw. Can't hear you. Nope. Bounce off.
Well, good. I didn't want to let him talk anyway. Yeah. No, look, I want to go back to this real quick because a lot of folks are talking about the Morgan thing. I think you have to the most difficult thing that they have to take apart from this past season is the differences in the line, in time to throw, in pass block, in all of those things.
Definite factor. Yeah, totally
agree. It has to be. If it's the same players throughout, and you're talking about you go from a pressure percentage of 43% for Justin to 27% for Bagent, those things factor in. And I think they're looking at that. some of that is definitely schematically how it lines up. And you can't, like, it's different if you're trying to saddle someone with a quarterback coach than it is an offensive line coach. Most of these offensive line guys are really versatile. They've done a whole bunch of schemes. Like, it's not the same. So, like, don't the numbers and their interpretation of them are going to show out really quickly. But after the combine is when I think we'll know who the QB decision is, Shane.
Yeah.
Really close to after the combine.
Yep. No, I agree with that. But Ryan, back to before you had to bounce off. What was your takeaway again? Because people think that was they were co-signing on Justin, and I didn't take that away from the presser at all.
No, not at all. And I was surprised that anyone would say that, considering what was said during that time.
Yeah.
I thought I caught a little bit of the CHGO show today. They did a little post-conference wrap-up thing.
Yep.
They made a good point in there. They said, there was no I have to be blown away. And he had said that multiple times last year, I think in the middle of this year. And that was not said at all. And there was to me, there was no indication that, we are fully behind Justin. He's our guy moving forward. I didn't hear or see anything of the like. So, I mean, to me, it's just Caleb has to do something or show them something that throws off giant red flags.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't otherwise, then
he literally said that like 3 times. He goes, I have confidence in us breaking down the tape. And like I said, it takes you maybe 10 minutes on each guy to realize that Justin Fields and Caleb Williams are wildly talented. That's never been in question. You don't have to question Justin's leadership. You know who Justin is there. That's the question mark with Caleb. And with, everybody talking about now with Lincoln Riley, the head coach at USC, his agent, also Trace Armstrong. And you had another nugget there too, Ryan. What was that with the?
Yeah, that was something else. They someone in the chat of that CHGO show brought up was that I think back when Flus was at Mizzou, the
shitty.
God bless Mizzou. What? I don't want to hear anything from anybody from Ohio State or any Big Ten team, right? Mizzou dominated that 14-7 football game.
What?
I don't know what that team is. How long? Who are you? Who are you?
God.
Yeah, I don't. You cussed in front of my child. I am not excusing you whatsoever. Sorry.
All good. But like the associate athletic director was there at the same time, and now his position he has a position at USC, a similar position, something in the athletic director's office.
So another connection.
There's so many dots that you can connect. So they're going to have all the information they need.
And if they come away with they're not sold on the leadership, then there's your. It's pretty simple. And listen, I'm a Caleb Williams guy, and there's no way in hell I would pull the trigger on him if you're not sold on him, who he is.
That's Jay
away
Cutler.
From the football field. Yeah,
that's Jay Cutler with all that talent without leadership. You have another Jay Cutler, and you don't win with that.
Well, what was it that Breer said when he was on with Cap?
He said that he knows a lot of people on the USC staff currently, and he knows a lot of people that were on the staff in Oklahoma when Caleb Williams was there, and resoundingly they came away. And I've talked to Cap privately, and I don't think Cap will mind me sharing this. Cap had a guy that knows a lot of the players in the situation at USC, and they both said that players and coaches have, co-signed for Caleb, and they love the kid. Talked about him doing a lot of charity work. That
read the LA Times article. There's LA Times did a massive article about him in the Boys and Girls Club and his impact there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know people are going to come out and say that the backup quarterback had 6 touchdowns, and he said that we're a team now. But the way that you have to look at that probably wasn't a direct shot at Caleb Williams, guys. And we know how this works. If you're around team sports at all, when there's one dude that's getting all of the attention 24/7, 365, there's some talented players on that team, and when they don't get any of the shine and it's all on Caleb Williams, that kicks him in the nuts a little bit. So that guy removes himself from the bowl game. They come out and say, hey, we're a team now. We're all getting exposure. We're all getting the limelight. Yeah. And I don't think that was so much. I think if you already went into that game with a preconceived notion about Caleb Williams, then your thought process was, oh, that was a clear shot at Caleb, and I'm not wavering from that. I don't know if you guys feel any different.
I agree.
No, I 100% do. And it's just like things like, I keep seeing in the chat people talking about time to throw. If you watch tape and understand why the time to throw is that way, show me which USC offensive player other than Caleb Williams is going to be drafted in the first 3 rounds of this, right? Like it's not the same. And you've got to learn sometimes that stats, you've got to marry stats. So time to throw plus how often is he getting the ball under 2.5 seconds. If it's 10 to 15% faster than Justin, which is what it is, it's not the same thing. And so you can't just look at one number. You've got to look at everything. There's so much that's going to go into it, but it does, Shane, you're absolutely right. It's, if he can't lead, it's that you can't do Caleb. If you are confident in his leadership ability, then it really comes down to who do you think is the best pure thrower of the football. We talked a lot this year. You can't be a running quarterback. Running quarterbacks don't get the penalties. This is Cam Newton's career ender, was because he couldn't transition to more of a thrower, more of an accurate passer.
Never got one this year. Not one.
Not a single penalty. The second you become known as such a dynamic runner more than a thrower, it changes everything, and it changes the way that refs call it, and it changes the fact that you've missed 25% of the games that you've played, that you've been in the league for because of injury. All of these things are going to factor in. I think though, my biggest takeaway is if he doesn't draft a quarterback, Poles is done in 2 years if they don't win. Flat out. Yeah. If he drafts one, he might have an extra year or get one more coaching hire. But if he doesn't, this thing is done in 2 years, and that would be your time, Shane.
Yeah.
To do the complete reset, but that's looking at 2026.
Yeah, and that's hopefully right around that time, 2026 or 2027 is when you hope to be breaking ground on a potential new stadium. But I mean, that's probably even optimistic at this point. But I hear you. And it's
know that Poles has to know and understand that if he ties himself to Justin and a new OC and a new system to learn, he's done. He's done.
Right. And this, Tim's got a great point too here. And this is something that people don't talk about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the Justin's track record of staying healthy. And the thing about it is, you look at the Minnesota game, there's one person to blame for the injury when he got injured this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Justin. What was it, 6.9 cars? Is that what it was? 6.9 seconds?
With Thayer screaming, throw it.
And all he had to do was throw it out of bounds at that point. He was way out of the pocket.
And I think that's where we sit. You sit. It was a massive press conference failure after a massive season failure, where you had one statement win, 5 statement losses. You didn't really show any of the growth. We started this season talking about, man, it's going to be great to watch that number 2 competition. Is it going to be Mooney or is it going to be Claypool that's going to go get that extension? And now Claypool is probably going to be out of the NFL, and Mooney's not getting that extension. Everything offensively, and how Bears is that, right? We're talking all this positivity about how great the defense played, how much more fun they were, how much more excitement. And we're still sitting here in the year of our Lord 2023, 2024 going, if we could only have an offense, if we could just consistently score the ball 25 points a game, would that be something? And it's never changing.
No. Hey.
Never.
T3P, I'm still waiting for that DM for you to come on the show, bud.
But that's not true. Like that isn't. Like if you want to talk about QBs that haven't stayed healthy, sure, you can use Burrow, but Mahomes isn't missing time, right?
Oh,
It's
he's a Fields fanboy. That's why he's making things up.
You can miss a game or two every now and then, sure.
Yeah,
but when it's
happens.
4 games a year plus, that's different. That's what changes everything. And if you're doing that early, Shane, what do we always talk about, Ryan? If you get injured early, that doesn't get better as you get older.
Nope.
Right.
No, doesn't. No, I totally agree. And it's, again, we're 41 minutes into this and talking about quarterback already, and we haven't brought up money yet. And that's number 1, number 2, and probably number 3 at this point, even though there's going to be people out there saying, hey, you don't have to pay him. Well, no, you have to make a decision on May 2nd for him. And just
And May
it doesn't
2nd,
make sense.
I don't have an answer for that.
See, my Alexa doesn't even know.
And this idea too that I keep seeing about like Bieniemy being the one to unlock him. He's never used a quarterback that's like this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Everyone that says that, sorry, that's too much of a generalization, but we forced Justin to stay in the pocket more this year. That was the thing to evolve as a passer. That's what Eric Bieniemy is going to do. That is what every one of these coaches that is not Greg Roman is going to do, right? That's their stuff. You win from the pocket. If you want to be a good quarterback, I don't care if you're mobile. I don't care how good. If you can't win from the pocket consistently,
right,
that's what you need to do. Bieniemy's going to make him stay in the pocket.
Yeah,
that's it. Mahomes, sure, was better under, but guess what? Mahomes has always been really good under center from the pocket. Where is Justin the weakest? From the pocket. Those things are really, really problematic. And so when you look at that, I think that's the next nail in the coffin for whichever way it goes, is who is your OC hire? Because the vast majority of names I hear, it's going to move. It's going to move.
Do you have any ideas, Cars? Ryan, yeah. Who do you think it'll be for the OC?
Cars, go ahead. Cars, who's your guy?
I mean, I don't have a guy. Like I know Waldron's name came out, but I don't know, I don't know who's going to be interested. My really big concern is that it's just going to be, it might be a Reich, it might be, a Caldwell. I think it's, I don't know, for all the talk, that you're going to get some hot up and comer unless you commit to Caleb Williams at number 1 overall. So that's the other thing, is if you see a bigger name than you expect, I think that again is what tells you. But my heart of heart tells me Caldwell or Reich, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, I don't know, man, either. And I usually take pride in kind of having a gut feeling on this, and I have absolutely none. But I do want to address Frank here, because he's bringing this up, talking about Trubisky, the top-rated quarterback in 2017. So essentially, he's just saying that's why you shouldn't draft Caleb Williams. But where they're not even remotely close to the same prospect. I mean, each.
Well, but why do you stick with Justin Fields in that case? The thing isn't that Trubisky is the highest rated quarterback by some. Is as your team, when you look at it, who is your higher rated quarterback? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Caleb Williams? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Drake May? Is it Michael Penix? Whatever it is, that's the breakdown. It doesn't matter who the highest one in the draft is. It's, do you think this person's ceiling is higher than what you currently have?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Cars, you've looked at him. You've looked at Caleb Williams, and we've looked at Mitch Trubisky. And in terms of just a draftable prospect, it's not even remotely close. I mean, Caleb,
Mitch could not beat out a guy who couldn't make it in the CFL as a quarterback.
Yeah, so Mitch Trubisky was 386 of 572, so he had 572 attempts in 3 years. Caleb Williams has 888 attempts, 599 completions, 72 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Mitch had 41 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. It's just, when you're looking at these guys, just strip away the helmet, everything, talent, what you see on the field. It's the release, the deep ball. How many times? I mean, go back. Somebody can go. I'm not going to do it. Somebody can go on YouTube and bring up 2017 draft day and listen to John Gruden talk about Mitch Trubisky. And he goes, one of the things that worries me with Mitch is when you throw the deep ball, you got to give your guy a chance to make a play on it. You can't throw it 10 yards out of bounds. He did it at UNC, and he did it all the time in Chicago. It never changed. Same type of deal. Justin's got issues that he had at Ohio State, and it's still a problem in Chicago. You can get
share that clip you sent Cox and I in the vaunted chain, right? That was from that draft day profile.
Yeah, do I still?
If you don't have it, I can probably send it to you. But it's
I think I have it.
I don't want any of this. This is not personal. Like, this is not a direct indictment of Justin. But since the league has gone to the rookie wage scale, not a single quarterback drafted in the first round has not shown himself to be the person within the first 3 years and then become the person. The only ones that have done it have been Kirk Cousins and Geno Smith. To sit down and expect a massive growth, and it would still be a massive growth in year 4. If those of you who don't watch Cars Keys, Justin has the ball longer than every other quarterback in the NFL. He's the only one over 3 seconds. He's still not making quick decisions. If Shane can find the clip, the whole clip was
I got it.
He doesn't make quick decisions. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
how many championships? How many championships do Kirk and Geno have?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we want.
They turn themselves into good mid-tier quarterbacks, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with the number 1 pick, you've got to shoot as high as you can.
If there's a guy with tier 1 ceiling and tier 1 ability, right now Justin is a tier 3-4 type of guy right now. Ceiling might be a tier 2, but it looks to be in that tier 3 range. You make that upgrade every time. You have to.
I totally agree. I do have the clip. I just got to transfer it over here. I don't know how it got deleted off my desktop, but just give me a minute. You guys can talk amongst yourselves, and we'll clean this up in post. Right, Cars?
We clean everything up in post.
Well, Cars, I talked with Shane a little bit last night, and he was talking about he was watching some Caleb stuff and mentioned, just the throwing motion and the release and the night and day difference between Caleb and Justin. And, it's right. He's right. It's incredible if you just kind of watch the two back to back. And, Phil made the point that Justin throws like a shortstop. And, so he has the perfect throwing motion and release for a deep ball. It's great. Yeah. It's fantastic. And that's what he does best. But it absolutely hinders every single other throw in the field.
And to pick out a play, right? We've talked about it a lot, that the first third down play against Detroit was a lackadaisical drop back and a long wind up that caused it to happen. In that clip that Shane's going to show, what does the guy say? He's got to go ahead.
Yeah, so here it is right here.
This will say it.
Yeah, so this clip is from the 2021 leading up to the draft. And this, guys, there's no narratives here. This is what we're seeing in the game against Green Bay. When somebody looks at Justin Fields and has a negative that we're not sure can be fixed, I don't think they can get this out of him, because this is who he is. It's who he was at Ohio. And granted, don't forget, guys, all those guys up in front of him right there are second round draft picks. The guys that he's throwing to are all first round draft picks. And I'll play this and you watch. And this is the number 1 issue with Justin Fields in 2024. This clip is from the 2020 season, 2021.
But right here, when the safety's flipped around and Fields' back foot hits, his motion needs to get started now. He's waiting to see the seam come open rather than anticipating the seam come open. And instead of throwing it straight up the hashes further downfield, that safety away from the seam.
So you see that right there. Let me see if I can pause.
But it's the thing, right? He does not throw consistently enough with anticipation, and he needs to have top of the line anticipation because of the shortstop throw. That's it. And B minor, like I keep seeing your comments. If we're not real Bears fans because we don't, we see the game differently, then that's just like a weak excuse, and you can just bounce because it's terrible.
I didn't even see what he was.
Oh, we're not real Bears fans because we're pointing out.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. Just be thankful that your mother has Wi-Fi in her basement and you can watch this.
And you need to take the trash out for her tonight.
Yes. Guys, listen, we're all Bears fans. We want what's best for the Bears. This is not a Justin Fields narrative. We see things, and let's go through. Ryan, where is your confidence level that gets, no matter where Justin is, where's your confidence level that gets coached out? The slow drop back, the slow release, the slow process. You're going into year 4.
Yeah. And you hoped all season long that you would see it and it would happen, and it just hasn't. I was thinking about it just earlier today. I was like, what was the moment where I realized that Justin, I don't think he's it. And it's probably Tampa this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And it breaks your heart too, because if I'm being honest, really, and this speaks to the sad state of affairs of the Chicago Bears organization and us as fans, but Justin Fields draft night was probably the happiest I've been as a Bear fan since the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
2006.
I think we said that live on air. I traded
Shane
my kid that night.
traded his son for that moment.
For 3 years of Justin Fields, he traded his son.
Yeah.
Fair deal. I would make it again, to be honest. I would trade Shane's kid any day of the week, but
T3P, I don't see it in the chat, so hit me up at Wazram. I'm sure your thousands of fans on Twitter, I'm sure you're active there. Hit me up on Twitter at Wazram, and we'll get you on here, and we'll chalk it up a little bit. We'll get you some views on your end. It'll be fun. We'll talk some ball.
Anyway, and we keep saying, coaches destroy QBs. That's not. Then if he's destroyed, what are we doing? Why are we rolling out with him? If this whole idea of for every, and the thing is for every Jay Cutler that comes out and talks about you build around him, there's a Kurt Warner that says that you don't. There's always going to be the way that this is going to break down, that people are going to see the game differently. I will totally respect anyone's beliefs that they think Justin's going to be it. And all I'm doing is trying to explain to you why and show you why I don't think it is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's it. It doesn't mean that I'm not rooting for the kid. It doesn't mean that I'm not excited for the kid. But there's the problem where we are in year 3 is you look at Justin and you say, I can look at those highlight reel plays, and if that's what I focus on, there's no way that I'm going to sit down and move on from him. And if I look at all the low light plays, and the missed throws and the poor anticipation stuff, if I focus solely on that, I want him out. There's very little in between. His highs are extremely high, his lows are extremely low, and has not changed in 3 years. And if he got destroyed, that destruction started in that first Cleveland game, and it never got better.
Yeah,
it never got better. And it could be, Josh Lucas even said, a game like that Browns game can destroy you. And if that's the case, then you've just got to, if you don't have the quarterback, nothing else matters. If you don't have the quarterback and everything else needs to be perfect, you're the Minnesota Vikings, and you're going to have 3 or 4 10-win seasons along with 5 or 6 10-loss seasons, and you're never going to consistently be in it and consistently be a threat. I want to be a threat consistently, not just next year, but for the next decade plus. That's what I want.
Right, and we talked. Who was it that originally brought up the clock for his drop? Was it Schmitz?
Robert Schmitz, who did it.
Yeah, his drop back.
So he had that, and it improved for Carrs. What was it that game? Maybe a handful of snaps where he made a point in practice that week where people were even timing his dropbacks in practice, and they're like, oh, it looks like this is a point of emphasis, but he's right back to it being lethargic. And then you add on the chicken wing release and then the ball. Those, when you're talking a game of inches, a game of milliseconds, or what was the famous Mike Brez quote on Mike Glennon? Just a millisecond or whatever the fuck it was.
On the alpha and the omega? No, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Check out the Brawl Network. Anyways, but with the chicken wing and then the slow release with the slower processing and the slow drop back, you find a guy that is average to good at that. That's a massive uptick in your offense right there before you even throw the ball. And just go watch. Just watch Caleb. Drake May isn't slow in his drop back.
No,
Caleb Williams isn't slow. Jaden Daniels isn't slow in his drop back.
Shane, the average quarterback has a time to throw of about 2.65, 2.66 seconds. Justin's 3.02 at the end of the year. If you take that drop back and that's just say it's a quarter of a second faster. Where is he? He's at 2.75, 2.77, which is where Lamar is, which is where Mahomes is. And those are the guys on the higher end of things. That 1/10 of a second, those 2/10 of a second make night and day differences in windows being closed and open. And you have to do those with anticipation. It has to be anticipation.
Right. And he's
that's it.
Only quarterback in the NFL above 3.0, correct?
The only one. Russell Wilson is the second closest at 2.88.
Wow. Kind of telling right there. And I have a hard time believing that when Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham and Matt Eberflus or whoever the offensive coordinator is turns on the tape, that they aren't seeing the same exact things.
You have to look at it at both the highs and the lows. Does Justin still have room to grow? Absolutely. Can he get better? Yes, he can still improve. But you, at this point, with the first pick in the draft, you're looking at who gives you the highest ceiling, who has the highest place to go, and right now it's an improvable position. We want to talk about, we can draft a left tackle because Braxton Jones is an improvable position. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that Justin Fields is not one either.
Right.
It's a difference if he's a top 12 quarterback than where he is right now.
George, it's not a drop back average. This is his time to throw. And yes, if he's running around and trying to make plays, but within that, there's time. I can
throws on time.
Right. If he delivers the ball on time, then there's no reason for him to run around. And again, I mean, I've played this clip 1,000 times at this point, and maybe there's people in here that haven't seen it yet. So I'll bring it up again. And it's going to show you guys exactly what we're talking about. If you can deliver the ball in a timely fashion when a guy is open. And this is what we've seen with Justin for a long, long time. He can see it. He just won't rip it. So this is Cole Kmet. You see Cole Kmet right up there at the hash, up the top, right up at the top of the C. Just keep your eyes on Cole Kmet and you tell me when he's open. And time to throw, this is going to go much higher than it needs to be because Justin doesn't rip it. And actually, this becomes a completion, but it doesn't get counted as a completion because they end up getting called for holding. But watch Cole Kmet on this play. It's going to just be a second here. And I'll pause it. Is he open? Is he open? Cole Kmet open? He open? Is he open? Is he open?
Well, look
Fields
how far.
is looking at him almost the entire time. Now take your eyes off Cole Kmet. Watch Justin Fields' head, and I will try to pause it when Justin is looking at him. So we'll show you how early it is. Not looking at him. Looking at him. Right there is where the ball should be delivered. That is college, high school
look at it.
open.
The middle linebacker or the guy on the inside is already moved up and is moved off the guy. The safety at the top of the screen is not at all, is still in a back pedal, pausing. And the guy at the top of the screen is already going over to switch off the route.
Right. So now,
where does all of Justin's interceptions come from, Shane?
Yeah.
Middle of the field.
Right. Exactly. Not on the outside.
So you can tell where he's looking at, by the way, because if you look at where his head is, and if you look at other angles, you'll see exactly where his head is.
Right. Yeah. You get the angle from behind the line of scrimmage, and you see it all day long.
And if you want to complain about this one, fine. Look at the Minnesota one where he stares at DJ Moore and refuses to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Justin
that's
does not.
That was on the second down before the 36-yard completion on third down.
Yeah.
This is the play when you sit down and say, of all of his interceptions this year, every single one of them has come in the middle of the field.
And it's right there.
Everyone.
If you don't know what you're seeing on tape, if you have no idea, if you're just a casual fan, and we're not making fun of anybody for that, but if you don't know what you're seeing, you look at that and you're like, damn, watch him bail and watch him put this on Kmet. It's a great play. The hold is now. There's the flag right there. You can look right there up at the hash about the 33-yard line. You see the flag already out. And he makes a hell of a play here, throwing across his body across the field to Cole Kmet. It doesn't count because he didn't deliver the ball on time. So that time to throw cars is going to be elevated for that.
And again, if you don't trust his drop back, why are you going to put him under center? If his drop back is not consistent and fast, you're not going to put him under center.
Well,
these are all things.
Yeah. Even in that clip, Kmet was 20 yards down the field, and Fields was still in his drop. He's still dropping back.
Can you throw up the comment from?
I will just real quick. But T3P, and I know you love the attention that we give you, so I'm just going to give you a little bit more here. This is the exact point that we're trying to make. We're not saying that he's not talented. He's going to have games, and when they trade him, and he's in Pittsburgh or he's in Atlanta or wherever he is, he's going to have games where he makes plays, and people are going to look at it and be like, "Oh man, that we should have kept Justin." We're not saying that. He's talented. He is not consistent in delivering the ball, seeing it and ripping it, or anticipating open, which you have to do in the NFL. Kurt Warner said what? You can't live in the wows. And that's what Justin does.
So he's slowest in the league to get rid of the football. He gets rid of it in 3.8 seconds. 3.08 seconds.
Claude
sorry,
just joining the show. Carr's just talked about that for 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. I was looking something up. I didn't hear you.
My wife never listens to me either. I'm used to it.
But that's the thing. People are talking about how he gets hurt a lot. Yeah, he gets hurt a lot because he takes a lot of unnecessary hits. Because he's scrambling and trying to make something happen, which he's great at. But in a lot of those plays, if you go back and look, and you guys obviously look at the tape, there's throws that he should be making before he runs out and gets hit. So
yeah, and it's all right. Go ahead,
guys. How many offenses in the league are predicated on rhythm and timing?
The one that Getsy comes from.
Yeah,
is absolutely based on that.
Yeah. I mean, almost all of them, they need that. The whole offense is centered around that quarterback playing on time and in rhythm, and he just can't do it. He can't do it consistently.
I brought up the point on BHL the other night, and some people had meltdowns. I mean, who's a better quarterback right now? Jordan Love or Justin Fields? Just be honest about it.
Yeah.
It's Jordan Love.
Sadly to say, yeah,
it is. I mean, we're not going to lie about it.
Yeah, I mean
But there will be people in
the stats don't lie on that.
There's going to be people in the chat. There's going to be people on Twitter. Oh, you're fucking crazy. You're not a Bears fan. You're not from Chicago. All this bullshit. It's just a fact. What did he finish? Second in the NFL in touchdown passes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love?
Yeah, behind
number
Dak.
2.
Behind Dak, yeah.
Yeah. It's just
with not like he doesn't have Justin Jefferson. He doesn't have.
This is the thing, Claudia.
If
Justin Fields had those wide receivers at his disposal in Chicago, everybody would be using it as an excuse as to why he didn't take the leap. Everybody would be. Yes, Matt LaFleur is a much better coach than Matt Eberflus. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. He gets rid of the ball.
Well,
he just does.
Well, and the thing that we'll never have an answer for, and we'll never know, is what limitations Getsy put on from himself, and what limitations on the play calls came from the lack of trust in Justin Fields to deliver the ball on time and use the middle of the field. Like when you see that Green Bay game and all these routes are 10 plus yards and none of them are going to the middle of the field, right? They are all going outside. They're all going towards the sideline. Is that 100% Getsy? Is that 100% Fields? Or like everything, it's somewhere in between. You know, the hard part about this is when you look at all these throws, middle of the field, slants, these are timing and anticipation throws. These are where you have to be really quick. We remember Aaron Rodgers sitting there and throwing those, right? Like that ball has to come in and quick. And for everyone, like I keep seeing the same stuff. We never show the good plays. Then you haven't watched the show. You haven't watched any of the shows. If all you're going to talk about is how we're dissecting it, we're showing you why we're moving on from a player. That's it. And if you've got a problem that we're not showing the good stuff, and we're not talking about the 4 touchdowns at Washington, which, by the way, he had 11 after week 5, and he finished the season with 17. So let me know, the other ones and how good that really is. That tells me more about you than anything. If you won't even, we sit here and debate, we sit here and talk, we do this every week. If your thing is, but I like this guy, and because you disagree, you're dumb, then maybe you need to look in the mirror.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. And it has nothing to do with Justin the man or anything like that. It's
no.
You cannot commit. What is his salary going to be next year, Cars? $7
million. $7 million.
So you're going to be committing what, $31 million to him as of May 2nd for the next 2 years, and $31 million for 2 years of a quarterback is not bad. But when you can get, and Caleb's going to be what in year 1, $9 million, and then what was it?
And
what
then
were those numbers?
Yeah, so he'll be like $8 million year 1. He'll be in $10 million in year 2. So it saves you about $13 million leading in, and then into the average quarterback salary, which is where he would be in range for the top 10. The average salary would be about $53 to $55 million for Justin Fields in 3 years.
Yeah, in that's when he means in 3 years, that means $53 million for 1 year is what his salary would be. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
that's with Lamar Jackson will be over 70.
Yeah.
Right. So these things are going up. By the time that kicks in, those deals will be higher. But I mean, if you're Justin, Daniel Jones is going to be making $53 million.
Right.
Like there's a lot of really bad names on that list.
Hey, you want to be there? You want to have Daniel Jones money on your ledger? There's just no way. The decision is not hard. When I was talking to Cap there the other night, I told him, everybody wants to make this out that there's so many layers, and this is such a tough decision. It's coming down to the M&Ms, Ryan. Like I told you, money versus maturity. If the maturity works out and you're sold on that with Caleb Williams, there's your choice. There's your choice. And unfortunately, the night that the Bears draft Caleb, and if that's the direction they go, because he's not Justin Fields, there's going to be 50 to 60% of the fan base that's going to boo the kid. And that's welcome to Chicago.
If you don't want to be where Arizona is, you don't want to be sitting there with Kyler Murray and have a real chance at moving off of a player because he's not worth it and be stuck. You don't want to be the New York Giants. They're going to have to draft their third offensive lineman in the top 10 in the last 4 years because you are stuck with Daniel Jones because of the contract that you spent. It doesn't mean that you don't take risks and you don't pay for potential, but you have to be realistic on what the potential is. Running quarterbacks who can't stay healthy and do not throw the ball with anticipation on time do not have a high ceiling in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's it. You can give me Marvin Harrison Jr. and all these things, and if you can't get the ball out on time, in the end, you're going to be a better football team, but it's not going to be good enough to win you a championship. And that's why we are here. It's not to win the division. It's not to beat Green Bay. We're going to do both of those things on the way to win a Super Bowl. That's the goal.
Exactly. And it's not, listen, this isn't about being a fan of a player. If you're locked and loaded and choosing Justin over the betterment of the team, then you're not really a Chicago Bears fan. You're a Justin Fields fan. You want what's best for this team moving forward. And don't forget one thing that Ryan Poles brought up and nobody's talking about. He talked about financial stability moving forward. Are you doing that? If you're staying with Justin, is that making you financially stable? No, it's not.
Yeah, Kevin Warren mentioned it too.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
No, we're very economical, my family.
Well, I think you just look at the next couple of years, right? And where extensions are going to come.
Yeah.
In this year, it's Jalen, and you're going to make up Jalen's salary by cutting Whitehair and Bojack.
Yeah.
The year after, it's Tevin Jenkins, who had a bad game and admitted it. But right now, you're looking at Lidstrom money for what Tevin Jenkins gave you. That's $20 million a year for the guard. And 3 years down the line, you have to do DJ Moore's extension, Kyler Gordon's extension, Quan Brisker's extension, Braxton Jones' extension, and potentially Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if you're hitching your wagon to him, he's
costing you two of those names.
Yeah, easily. Totally agree.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is what it is, and I know people are saying he's better for the. That's saying that Justin's better for the team is based on hope that he's going to fix his flaws in year 4, year 5, year 6. So let's just do this. Anybody in the chat that believes that Justin Fields is for the betterment of the Chicago Bears, give me the name of 2 quarterbacks that have fixed their flaws in years 5, year 6, year 7 when they've been.
There's one.
Oh yeah, I know. We talked about it on Cars Keys. Yeah,
Geno Smith. That's it.
Yeah, and that's a pretty low ceiling to be shooting for. Let's be honest.
And if you're, and look at his regression back.
Yeah,
still very good.
That ain't
but
true.
not the player. Drew Brees was a very solid player, and when you talk about like the way it was, that was not in the rookie wage scale era. It was 2011. The Cam Newton draft was the first time that the year after Sam Bradford that they defined that Lamar Jackson won the MVP award in his second year. Try again.
Yeah, Cash.
With 3 tight ends.
Right.
3 tight ends, no wide receivers.
And he had
try again.
36 touchdowns in year 2, and Justin has 39 or 40 through 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a really bad comp. But yeah, so Corn Planter brought up a good one. You still have that Lynn Dickey all 22 cars? I know it's black and white's a little scratchy, but
we'll play it up on the wall here in the garage in a few minutes.
So, Cash, let me ask you this: did he get coaching at Ohio State? Because he had the same issues there with it being surrounded by elite talent. So, what was the issue there with Justin's flaws that he still has today? Did he get the proper coaching there? Or what's the reason that he had those flaws at Ohio State? Because I just showed you.
And who do they work with in the offseason when they can't? Their own personal QB coach.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a different world. I mean, there's people bringing up Brett Favre. You didn't have to commit $53 million in a season to Brett Favre. And guess what, guys? If you didn't have the number 1 pick in the draft, if you're drafting 9th or 15th or 18th, guess what kind of a conversation we're having right now? It's a totally different one.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
You agree, Cars?
Not as much anymore to a degree.
No, but you know my point. It's
not as cut and dry.
No. But
it's
the 2021 conversation when we're sitting at number 20, trying to figure a way how we're getting up to get a guy.
Yeah.
You remember that? Because a lot of people don't. It was going to be Darisaw was their target in 2021 if they couldn't move up. That's who they were. That's who they wanted to draft. But then Justin kept on falling. And they consummated a trade actually the morning of the draft with Gettleman because he's a dumbass for
God.
And he
Daniel Jones
Kadarius Toney,
Kadarius
Toney. I mean, the New York Giants definitely are in the running here for the teams that have gotten the least out of the first round picks with the Tennessee Titans and others over the last couple of years. It's incredible. But no, like it is what it is.
I did forget about him. Shane Falco did. He went to the playoffs late. Yeah.
Man, Gene Hackman's coaching that year was incredible.
Yeah.
That deaf tight end was incredible.
He did bang that hot cheerleader, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking through some of the comments here. Who Justin didn't win a championship at Ohio State. Never did.
The playoff. Yeah.
Yeah, they got beat by Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cash has like a shitty history book, I think. But yeah, he didn't win a title there. But yeah, I don't know. So what is today? January 10th. I mean, guys, we only have to deal with this until the end of April. So
I'm glad the Keys is on hold for quite some time, and we'll figure it out. But it's going to be a mess. Everyone's in their corner. It's going to stay this way. No one's going to be able to get. No one's mind's getting changed. No one's going to see something all of a sudden that they hadn't before. We'll know in 3 months. Like that's what it's going to be.
So all right, let's do this. What's percentages that Justin Fields is QB1 in Chicago in 2024? Cars, what's your percentage at?
About less than 25% at this point. Yeah, I think
Ryan.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say about 15.
Yeah. Let's ask the Miss National Champion over there, Cherie. What's your percentage that Justin Fields? I think Cherie's going to go higher.
Are you saying what I want, or what do I think they would do?
What do you think the chances are of him being?
Well, to remove your fandom, okay, and you remove your love for Justin.
Justin is eye candy. That's why I don't want to see him go. But that's
well. Cars said the same thing last night, but he was able to give us a proper percentage.
I get lost in those eyes every time. That's for sure.
The chance of what's the percentage of him staying?
What are the percentages that he's QB1 in Chicago in 2024?
I would say about 60%. You're right. I was gonna go high. I'm sorry.
60%. Cherie's doing cocaine in the green room. Claude, what would you?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna go higher than you guys. I'll say 50-50. I'm gonna go 50%. I think there's something to the fact that they kept loose, and that could mean something, but I don't know. I would have to say 50%.
Larison says it's the same chance of McCaskey selling the team. 0.0. Actually, Mr. Larison's working on something big for all people in Chicago to maybe see. Maybe we'll have some news on that in a few weeks. That would be pretty amazing, but we'll share that at a later date. But yeah, people are chiming in here. Steve Shinogle, 10%. Michael.
Hey,
Willis,
can you throw up Isaac's comment real quick that just got started? Because I think that's a really good one.
The super chat?
Yes, that one.
Yep. So Isaac Siegel, $20. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. This seems like the Rams with Goff. They knew they could win with him, but they needed better. And just like Goff, Justin Fields can win somewhere, but the Rams are winning because of Matt. Lions winning with Goff. It's a difference.
Kansas City with Alex Smith. They were winning and making the playoffs every year. They still saw an upgrade. They still made an upgrade.
Yeah.
You see it every time. It is the most important and highest paid position in all of sports for a reason. If you have one, Cincinnati got dragged with two really bad offensive lines and not that great of defenses, but because they had Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they went to a Super Bowl and an AFC championship in back-to-back years. They went to a Super Bowl playing every playoff game on the road and winning because they had such good quarterback play with shittier than what we've seen in Chicago offensive line. Go watch Cincinnati tape from 2 years ago and tell me how much better that offensive line is.
One of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
So I think George brings up a great point here. He's like, do you think they would look at Daniels or May? And everybody knows my thought. I am not there on, like, if the Bears drafted Drake May at number 1, I would fucking lose it live on air. I would be very upset. There's some things there that I like. I know Ryan Cox is higher on him than Cars and I are, but that might be because the mother-in-law might kick his ass. But
but no, I think all the guys are in play right now.
Yeah.
Because
no, totally
there's a scenario.
agree.
Shane, tell me if I'm wrong though. But there's a scenario where the Bears trade out of one, drop back, and still move on from Justin Fields
100%.
in another position. And
Cars, let's just say this, and I made the comment last year to you guys that I wanted to see Ryan Poles be a fucking assassin when it came to trading the number 1 pick, because we were all in unison. It was too early then to move off of Justin. There was too many unanswered questions that we thought that maybe he could fulfill, that we wanted to give him another chance. I think even Phil who was a Bryce Young fan. I was not. Phil said he wouldn't move off Justin for Bryce Young and lose the number 1 pick compensation for it. But there is a pathway. Let's be honest. Let's just move off of the Caleb talk for a second. Sitting in number 2 is the Washington Commanders. Caleb Williams is from DC. It's where he was born. It's where he was raised. It's where he went to high school. There's going to be a huge connection there. And they have new ownership. Along with new ownership, maybe they want to make a huge move and bring a hometown kid home. There's a scenario where you could drop to number 2, cash in on some premium picks, and still move down from number 2. And maybe Jaden Daniels is your guy. Because I would take myself right now. I would take Jaden Daniels over Drake May. That's who I am, and I'm not even a huge fan of Jaden Daniels because I have some worry about his very thin frame, and I don't know if he's going to fill out great.
It's a valid concern,
but I'm not there with Drake May. But you're right, Cars. They can easily move down once. Twice. They tried to do it last year. They had a deal not agreed upon completely, but the Bears were going from number 1 to number 2. Houston was coming to 1 to draft Bryce Young.
Yep.
And the Bears were going to go from number 2 to number 9 with Carolina. Carolina was going to go to number 2 and draft CJ Stroud. Now you talk about the ultimate fuck you in both scenarios for Carolina. What happened to them? They made the move to 1 to get Bryce Young, and they got screwed out of going to number 2. So for CJ Stroud, but there's definitely a pathway where if it's not Caleb Williams, they could still move. It's all going to depend on what Ryan Poles and the OC, and if Ian Cunningham is here. Jeff King is the guy that's getting play in LA. Maybe they're not sold on Caleb. Maybe they're sold on Jaden. Maybe they're sold on Drake May. There's a pathway for it.
There's a lot of moves. The hardest part is going to be there's not a DJ Moore type player available on any of the teams close. The teams really close to us have bottom 3, bottom 4, bottom 5 rosters. They're terrible. Yep. Like the 2 best players in Washington are Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, and neither of them are playing at a level that's worth that money. You want to go to Arizona? Who are you going to get from Arizona that is anything? Who do you want from New England that is going to give you anything? So you're going to have to get 3 picks. The only reason we got 2 last time was because they threw in DJ Moore.
Yeah. Well, I'll push back. Commanders, I mean, that receiver, McLaren's pretty good.
He's 28 years old. He's already. He's $25 million. And he's had a decline in receptions, yards per reception, catch percentage, and yards per game the last 2 years.
He did, but you put him on the other side of DJ Moore, it's a different story. When you have he's the main guy defenses are focused on.
But the point is, he's 28 now, then you're talking 20, 29.
And he's a free agent in 2026 as well. So you're now really expensive. 2026 is even more expensive.
Yeah, and exactly. You're gonna have 2 of those guys. You're gonna have 2 guys open at the same time, and that's DJ and Terry McLaurin. Not that he's not a good player, I get it, but I'm just not sure if he's gonna fit so much. But I saw somebody in the chat, and I think it's Key's guy's got a good thing, so we can get off the quarterback talk a little bit. And I would be kind of hesitant on thinking that Kevin Warren saying that that's his preference, because again, much like the NFL draft, this is a big poker game.
Oh yeah.
And he's putting pressure on Arlington Heights when he says, well, our preference is to be in Chicago. They put a lot of money up to buy that land in Arlington Heights for a reason. So I would pump
negotiations.
The brakes. Yeah, I would pump the brakes just a little bit on that. I think did you have something you want to say, Cherie?
Well, yeah, not about that. It was another comment that I wanted to address.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Fire away.
And I hate to bring it back to this, but it just kind of proves your point about the people who are riding for Justin Fields that are not really fans of the team. And I hate to keep giving this person attention because it's obvious that they're not trying to hear what we're saying. But this statement, Justin gets traded, I want him to stomp the Bears. That right there says all you need to hear, because obviously you're not a Bears fan. You're just a Justin Fields fan. So I just want to point that out.
That's cool.
Point.
Yeah, that's fine. Like root for the way you want, but it's I want to see a Super Bowl that we win, not just show up to. And considering we've been in 2 out of the 50 plus that have existed in the NFL for a charter franchise, I would like to see us win one when I'm not 6 years old. That would be really great.
Yeah. So let's hop into some of these super chats.
Thank you, Corn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, first class for Nicola. How old? You're 9 now, you said?
I feel like that. That's my doctors say I got problems like a fucking 7-year-old. No, 42.
Well, you gotta stop shoving those things in your ass, Claude.
You're right. I gotta stop. 42. I turned 42.
42. That's the same age as Mrs. O, right?
Yeah, we're the same age. I think she's around 42 or 43. Yeah.
Weren't you guys in the same class?
Well, not class. I mean, I didn't really.
No, he punched outside of his class.
I didn't really go to school much. I didn't go to school much, honestly. But no, we were in the same grade. Yeah.
All right. So where are we on the supers? Did we take them in order here? Oh, so yeah, Lawrence, no problem. I'm glad you got it, buddy. I did track it and saw that it was delivered last night. So you're gonna have to put it on and take a picture and send it to me in the DM. We'll put it up on the show because we have and we'll add you in one of our opens with a bunch of our fans wearing our swag. So appreciate you, brother. All right. So E90, do you think the OC hire would show their quarterback intent? I mean,
100%.
Yeah. If you go out and you hire Greg Roman, what's that going to tell you, Cars?
Yeah, if it's Greg Roman, it's for sure Justin is coming back.
Yeah.
I would be so disappointed with that. Good grief.
Yeah.
That dude, his ceiling is so low.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what the Ravens did.
Yeah.
They said, he could only do so much with the
he
offense.
was Jim Harbaugh's guy, and his brother fired him. Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
So now that you're on the subject, how about we go through a few of the names? You want to go real quick? You guys get your opinions on the OCs? What people are talking?
Throw some names.
So yeah, great. So how about Frank Reich?
No.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
I'm not there on Frank, and that to me,
but I think he's a leader in the clubhouse because of his ties to Flus.
Yep.
Okay. Brian Greasy.
Cap talked about that. He's in San Francisco on their staff. It's an interesting name. I mean, with him being around Shanahan and his transition from the booth to the coaching staff. I mean, I don't think I would hire him. I would talk to him. I would, he's a guy that's been around for a long time, former quarterback in the NFL. It's much like Josh McCown. That's another name. I think Josh would probably be more in play as a quarterback coach.
100%.
Yeah.
He's the leader in the locker room for that position.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But more names.
Byron Leftwich.
Nope. I'm out.
No, he's completely fallen apart.
Okay. Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm not big on him, especially after the Arizona experiment and how badly that offense ran. That doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Whole Foods in Chicago would be happy. But anyways, who's next?
Zach Robinson from the Rams.
It's an interesting name.
The Rams guys
some names that I saw somebody put up.
I'm not against bringing him in and talking to him at all.
I'm not, because I'm not in the boat that it has to be an experienced play caller. I think we overreact to all of that all the time, just like we always overreact to you have to be a head coach first to be a successful head coach. For me, that's a name that I like. I like QB. Isn't it Clint Kubiak?
Kubiak, yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
That's another one.
That's Gary's son, right?
Yes, and I like that mantra, but I don't necessarily need to do that, because if you need someone to have been an offensive coordinator, you would have not hired Mike McDaniel to be the head coach and offensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, or Kevin O'Connell to be the head coach and offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. Like, you limit yourself far too much. I want to see a young name. I want to see someone under my age, which is crazy to say. I want to see someone under 45, basically, to come in, because we have a young team, a young offense, and I don't want someone to be so set in their ways.
All right.
Got any more, Claude?
No, I mean, not me, but I mean, the chat is throwing a lot up here. If you guys want to talk,
who was the other Rams guy? Wasn't there Liam Cohen?
Yes, that name was thrown out there too.
Yeah.
I think
I am so out on Bieniemy.
I'm
yeah.
Yep. I hear
Brian
you there.
Callahan.
That would be a hard get.
Dan Weeder brought his name up and said he's heard his name connected. He actually brought up his name as a legit head coach candidate in Chicago if they had moved off Flus, and he had heard his name connected here multiple times in Chicago as a head coach. So, but to Ryan's point, as an OC, I think that would be hard for them to pull off. I mean, you definitely make the call, but are they gonna do it?
The one kind of sleeper thing is that Brian Johnson, who's right now the offensive coordinator at the Eagles, because if that fall apart continues to happen, they started off 10-1 and then lost 5 of their next 6.
He's interviewing in Carolina.
Brian would be a name that could be talked into coming here with a number 1 pick overall. So he's like a sleeper should the Eagles fall apart completely happen. And one of the most overrated general managers, Howie Roseman, blows everything up. That would be someone I would like.
Right. Is that the end of your list, Claude?
No. Yeah, it's under my list, but a few people.
Ken Dorsey, Jeremy K. Ken Dorsey, I would 100% do as well. That's a great name.
A lot of people throwing up, Pep Hamilton right there, but also
that's a Greg Gabriel name right there. Pep.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore.
I believe Pep got his original start in Chicago
as a quarterback coach. Yes.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore, I would kick the tires on. I don't.
For sure.
That's
the Chargers.
I'm a little apprehensive there with Kellen myself, but yeah, I definitely talk to him.
I mean, no team has gotten less out of wide receiver drafts than Chargers. Like they drafted the one guy in the first round who sucked, and every other wide receiver basically destroyed him all season long. And they had so many. What do the Chargers have more consistently than injuries? I still think he's got ceiling there. I would like to see him get a shot.
Talking about the hiring of an offensive coordinator, obviously Flus is going to have a say, obviously a big say in it. But
I'm not even so sure he's going to have a lot of say in it.
Oh, you don't think so?
Honest.
Okay, so
I think it's
I think he got neutered.
Yeah, me too.
So you think it's going to be polls mainly?
You have to.
All right.
Well, I don't think you have to, but I think that what they have to do is you have to really sell on a guy, and a guy's got to be more forward thinking. They're not going to settle for someone that comes from a system. They're going to want someone who's got a more defined plan than Field of Dreams that we build it and they will come. So,
Jimmy, Phil is tested positive for COVID, and he's really, really sick at the moment. So we decided to pivot and reschedule Adam Rank for next week. So,
Dr. Phil is on Fox, I think now.
Right,
but
yeah, he's
Dr. Phil.
He's definitely not here. But yeah, the much shorter version with more hair. He's sick in bed right now with COVID, and Adam Rank.
Both are not real doctors.
Week.
Both are not
right. Neither are. Right. Absolutely. What was my video? I don't know. What was my
the Ohio State clip?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But let's jump into some of these. Start ripping through these. Chris R 499. Who comes up with the blocking schemes and blitz pickup rules for the offensive line? If it's the OC, I'm less concerned with SEMO. Both are involved.
Yep.
The issue there was always that the run game blocking didn't marry up to the pass game blocking, so sets became very similar. Whereas 2 years ago, the mesh was better. They were more aggressive. This year, they made changes, which felt like trying to keep Justin in the pocket more, but it caused an issue on some of the blitz pickups. So I think that was it, as well as the other part that I think it was just like that Green Bay game.
Yep.
A lot of those plays came in when you've got what was Taylor, Tanyan, and all these no-name folks trying to block edges. The offensive line made a tremendous improvement from last year to this.
Yeah.
Darnell Wright's growth. SEMO should get a lot of credit for getting Tevin Jenkins and helping Tevin to get where he is. Braxton Jones made tremendous improvement.
And I give Tevin a ton of credit for owning
his
game.
Sure.
You do not see a lot of players do that. And I believe I think he just became a first-time dad, wasn't it? The week leading up. to the game.
A few days. I think it was a few days, right?
Yeah, so you had a lot going on now. And again, I don't want to say that it's an excuse, and it's everybody handles that, especially the first one, but it's, him owning up to it. My respect level for Tevin went up a lot, because when that dude is locked and loaded, he is a legit force on this offensive line. 100%. We just need to.
Same with Darnell Wright. Like Wright was a monster when he
played most of this season
with a
not
bad
just
shoulder,
hurt but injured, and there's a big
barely
difference.
able to use his shoulder in certain plays. Yep.
That's amazing.
What do we got here? Check out the interview, Catfish 499. Check out the interview with Brown Bros and DJ Moore. Some good insight on the teams. Good info about Velus and Mooney. I did not see it. Did anybody here see it?
Well, that's where he came out and said on that pod that he was the 5th alternate for the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
That's where that came from.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have any idea what he said about Velus and Mooney?
I don't know. I only caught the clip of the Pro Bowl stuff.
I'm assuming it's positive talk about them, but we can't forget that these are our teammates. And like I said, they're everybody's saying, they're coming out for, if you notice, DJ Moore's, I don't want to call it his spin, but he came out very hardcore for Justin. But then you can see he
pulled back
on it. He's like, well, it's I don't control that. Whatever. We'll address that. If something happens. And listen, it's it's my family. You can pick on my family. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of things. But I'm going to defend them. But I may talk bad about them. All that shit. You can't. I don't think you can look too much into a wide receiver that's coming off of a career year defending the quarterback. Of course he's going to. Caleb Williams comes here and DJ puts up 1,500 yards and they win 10 games and go to the playoffs. Guess what? DJ's not gonna be complaining. Doyle Collette, $10. Glad you guys are live when I arrive home from work so I can voice my frustration. The ownership and front office are a bunch of dumb fucks. Love you guys. Hey, we're right there with you, Doyle. I don't think there's anybody up here that disagrees with you. Probably Justin's cheerleader there, what's her face, and T3P probably disagree. But
wow, I get what's her face now.
No, not you. I was talking about who is the chick there?
Cash.
Yeah, Cash.
You're talking about me.
Our guy Kerry Franklin.
You're just the foul-mouthed one now, Sheree. That's the way that works.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Maisie.
Our guy Kerry Franklin, who was live from Lambeau with Jim Larson this past weekend. $20. It just doesn't make sense. Fire the only OC and majority of his staff and think this will fix this. Carmen on Rank Show tonight said they're looking for an OC that can adjust to the play. Well, yeah, they said that. I mean, they said that the Eberflus essentially shit on the OC's Getsy's forehead by saying you have to have the ability to adapt. But here's the kicker. You're the head coach, asshole.
Right.
You mandate it. I mean, you could have fired him back in the beginning of the season if he wasn't doing that.
And what week did he finally say something negative? Because he had backed him up all season until it started to fall apart, and then he said something negative about him. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Tom Boson, $4.99. Is Poles now tied to Flus's fate by keeping him? It's almost like he rehired him today. Thoughts? Yeah, they are 100% attached to Hip. I chose him, and yeah, you just renewed your vows live on air.
You oftentimes get a second coaching hire, right, in your tenure today. Retaining Matt Eberflus was Ryan Poles' second coach hire. That's the way that you have to look at it.
So right there, just stop right there, Carson. This is kind of a mic drop. Is he going to pass on? So he gets his second head coach, essentially, with Flus. Is he going to pass on getting his first quarterback again?
If he does, it eliminates all the goodness that he is built up for.
But to touch on that again, like, does that, because I know, of course, the talk was he didn't choose Flus. So now by him,
he did
basically re-up, and does that solidify that, yes, he was involved in selecting Flukes.
I think it does.
I do too, because this was his exit strategy. This was his out. Just like him making the trade with Carolina. Listen, when they made that trade last year, I believe somebody can go back and pull a clip. I'm like, guys, hey, end of the day, we hope we get a top 10 pick with the Carolina pick. We're not going to, I think I'm on air saying we're not going to be able to even sniff Caleb Williams.
Because the NFC South was such a shit division that we were like, they could win this. There is a chance. And look at how bad that season was for. They could have, if they probably kept Steve Wilkes, but that's another story.
Mm-hmm. JR ain't going $4.99. The moment I realized that Fields wasn't the guy is when Bajent came in and showed us what a quarterback's footwork really looks like. And it's the footwork and the quick release. Cars, do you have the number on his TTT?
2.72.
2.72 versus 3.02. And I don't want to hear he was running around and making plays when it was.
What's that number for? I missed
the time to throw.
Because I brought up stats about his, the percentage on dropbacks. Did you guys talk about that? How Bajent was
20. Claudio, are you okay?
No,
you're doing stat work. What am I even here for anymore?
Not only did Cars talk about it, but when you came and brought it up before, they let you know that Cars talked about it.
No, that was something different. This is
not smart.
That was released. That was releasing the time. This is percentage of sacks on dropbacks. Different stat.
So the bigger one is, I think it was 40% or 43% of Justin Fields' dropbacks had pressure. It was 27% of dropbacks had pressure for Bajent. Same offensive line, and let's be honest, he faced better defenses during the time because that was Minnesota, that was Carolina, which is been a really good defense. That was New Orleans. So there was a lot of things. And the average is somewhere around 2.6, 7, somewhere in that range. So it is
right.
Yeah,
Bajent is closer to that average. He's not going to be a starter. Bajent is always he doesn't have that arm strength, and he could be a spot starter and a middle of the road one, but it does highlight the importance. He didn't have all the athletic ability, so he hardcore worked on that drop back. He has a perfect quarterback throwing motion. Those things do add up in the NFL.
So man, I fucked up, but for sure.
Can you Bill Robbins, when you say different play calling, yes, but again, you have to factor in, is the play calling different because of the offensive coordinator or because of the guy throwing the football? And I think in that situation, because the play calling was different, and one thing they did do with Bajent was use the middle of the field considerably more during those 4 games, it does lead you to see that there were some issues as it related to play calls because of what Justin could and couldn't see or would or would not throw.
Bill Wagner's bringing a blast from the past, throwing me into the bus a little bit with my love for Deshaun Kaiser. Time $5. Shane, Kaiser's rookie year in Cleveland when he went 0-15 was better throwing the ball than any of Fields' 3 seasons. Sad but true. I mean, honestly, I would have to go back, and I can't
remember a single positive of the Deshaun Kaiser era, and I was just as big on him as Shane was. But
hey, and that's the thing, and in the world that we live in today, everybody that has social media is an expert. Listen,
including myself.
I've had epic misses like Deshaun Kaiser, and what do? You just own it, and you talk about it, and you move on, and I've had guys that I've hit on and guys that I've missed on. And if you're batting 250, not only are you probably the Cubs' best player, but you're the best GM in fucking football.
Can someone please go and clip Shane saying I've had guys I hit on? If someone could just grab that, I would love that. Thank you.
Might have to consider it at this point. JR ain't going $4.99 with Aaron. Getsy actually saw slants. Noticed he didn't call any slants for Fields. Getsy knew Fields' footwork was out of whack. You can't deny it. We were screaming, pre-Getsy, we were screaming for him with Nagy, screaming for him with Getsy, and I just it's the number one. It's the easiest way to get your quarterback going is with a slant pass, and it's sometimes I think the NFL, these guys outcoach themselves. They're like, no, that's just too simplistic. They're gonna be all over that, and sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Mm-hmm. I mean, just sprinkle in a couple of them, and I don't want to get back into this debate, but Ryan, if you look back at our text from last night when I was going through some Caleb stuff, what did I tell you about the short game?
Oh yeah.
It's, I mean, we'll get into it, guys, but Justin struggles with easy. You know, he's got elite talent and he can get you out of trouble, but just a little bubble screen, a little quick out, and it's I mean, you see the one last week where he sailed it 12 yards above the guy's head. Watch Caleb Williams. Just go to the Washington game when he played against the Huskies. Go there because he throws some there. It's lightning fast. It's precise. It's on point. It's where the receiver can catch it and move forward.
Show up Dustin's comment real quick, by the way. Sorry. That's breaking news.
Yeah, I just read that. Just requested it with Sean Waldron.
Big news.
Yeah, a few people were
spells his name stupid, but we're not going to hold it against him. You know? No, that's a name. I mean, as soon as we saw the Pete Carroll news break, and I mean, they've already. I don't even think they need.
Do they have to
request because they've already given the assistants opportunities to go?
Yeah. Well, I think they said that they could. They weren't going to prevent them from doing so. If they hire a new coach, the new coach will have the chance to talk to those guys and keep them there.
Let me ask you this. Shane Waldron is named the OC. Who's the leader in the clubhouse at quarterback?
Oh.
You see where I'm going there?
Yeah, it's Caleb.
Still Caleb.
Still.
Yep. Okay, great. Well, man, this offseason is gonna be something. If you're not a TTNL patron, you're fucking missing out. I'll tell you that. All right, next one. E90. You think Poles sees his Mahomes and Caleb?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But
it's in whoever he does draft, if he drafts someone.
The frame is different, but there's similarities there. I mean, there's the pass to Cole Kmet in the end zone. I have a feeling Caleb makes that play with ease, and it's 6. You know, the one that got tipped.
Oh yeah, for
Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
I think he sees it earlier, flick of the wrist, but we'll. That's right, Tim. Fucking McFlurries, man. That shit's like I don't even know the last time I had a McFlurry.
So I meant there's the idea going around a lot about them double dipping, so to speak. So they keep Justin and draft Caleb. That's a popular thing. I think the Bears blog was one on that. He's trying to connect
as much as we've given him grief. He fucking nailed the shit.
He nailed it.
He did call it. This is his time of year to shine.
He was off by an hour on the presser, so we can hold that against him. But
but he seems to think that Poles could recreate the Mahomes Alex Smith situation.
I think that is a media
I think it's ridiculous.
Circus waiting to happen, and I don't think it's fair to Justin Fields.
Because you're not going to because you'd have to make that move make any sense. You're doing the 5th year on him. There's no way that you're doing that, right? If you draft another quarterback. So if you don't do that, and if you don't do the 5th year, you're letting him walk for free in the offseason because you have nothing to do. So no, it doesn't. The second you draft a quarterback, Justin Fields' value
tanks his value. Yeah,
tanks.
Yep.
You can still get a Sam Darnold like deal for him until you draft a quarterback. And I'm glad that Shane left, so we can all talk so much shit about. Sorry.
I had to go grab a bottle of water, but I don't know. I'm sure Cars is smart enough to bring out. You guys were talking about that, but you lose
all the value.
Any value.
You tank the value, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, what do you think his value is in a trade?
Well, Cars, should we talk about what we talked about?
So, yeah, the thing is, when you look at this draft, once you get past around 9 or 10,
you want me to bring up a mock draft? Just do it.
Yeah, but once you get past 9 or 10, though, this draft really falls out. So once you get past a couple of the quarterbacks, the 2 offensive tackles, Dallas Turner, all 3 wide receivers, meaning Harrison, Neighbors, Rome, Bowers. Once you get past that, this is a very heavy cornerback kind of draft. And so when you start getting into that second half, much like we talked about last year, you get past top 10, there's probably going to be about consensus on maybe 14 guys being worth first round picks. So if you're a team like Pittsburgh, who desperately needs a quarterback after finding out that Mitch isn't the one, and that Joe Flacco threw for more touchdowns in December than Kenny Pickett has his entire career, and so you desperately need a quarterback, and you're sitting there at 18, and maybe you drop back into the early 20s, mid 20s. At that point, do you go, there's not enough difference between the 25th pick and the 35th pick, so let's trade him, let's go get Justin Fields with a first round pick here at the back half of the draft and try to solidify that quarterback position. I think it's more likely that you're going to see Carolina, so like a 2nd and a 4th, and whatever team picks him up will instantly sign on and do that 5th-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an outside possibility of a back 3rd first-round pick for him.
All right, so let's just do for instance here. So we will draft Caleb at number 1, and we're going to go down through and see what we get here at 9. Available at 9. We're going to reject all trades just for the sake. So Brock Bowers, Dallas Turner, the way Rome Odunze. So to me, it's between outside shot of Brock Bowers, Dallas Turner, and Odunze. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yep. So let's just say they go Odunze just to give our quarterback a weapon. So we're just going to get that down to, where is Pittsburgh drafting?
18.
Well, all right. So they must have made it. Did they trade?
No, they might have moved back because they they won, so now they're in the playoffs. So they're probably in the 20s.
All right. Well, so they're at 23. So let's just
sorry for whoever's saying that the Falcons want to trade the 8th overall pick for Justin Fields. Whoever tells you that is lying to you, because that's.
Oh, that was Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper brought that up as a legitimate scenario for the Atlanta Falcons, and I mean
the least plugged in person when it comes to personnel.
Put it this way: if that is offered up, you
sprint,
consummate the trade immediately. But this is kind of our point when we're talking about Pittsburgh, who clearly needs help at quarterback. So you're Jerzon Newton, Brian Thomas, Amarius Mims, Adonai Mitchell. I mean, you can sort this and go to quarterback. Bo Nix, Shador Sanders isn't even going to be in there. This still has Michael Penix way too low. But I just think that there is a scenario, if you're at 23 and you're Pittsburgh, I think that there's a scenario where you flipping that pick for Justin Fields isn't out of the ordinary. And I don't think it's that much of a stretch, because are you hitching your wagon to Mitch? No. Are you hitching your wagon to Pickett?
Mason Rudolph?
No. Mason Rudolph? No.
The guy who thought he was going to be an actuary or real estate agent after this season is now going to be what you build on? No.
Yeah. So
it's an interesting theory. Again, the high level watermark is Carolina traded a 2nd, a 5th, and something else for Sam Darnold and instantly picked up
second,
the
a fourth, and a
fifth-year
sixth.
deal. So that's right, second,
Two,
fourth,
four,
and
a sixth.
sixth, and instantly picked out that fifth-year option. That's really what you can do.
Yep. All right. So Jeff Burton, there you go. So if we take Caleb at 1, who would you guys like to see at number 9? I think we just kind of covered that. I think you're talking about an Adunze if he's available. I think Dallas Turner is going to be in. Listen, there's there's pathways to pass rushers in free agency depending on how that works out, and we're going to have shows talking about that. But Jacksonville's got some things going on. You got a guy there that's going to be available, and Josh Allen. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes, but yeah. So you're talking about potentially Dallas Turner, and I know Braxton Jones, but I mean Ryan Poles brought it up today. It depends if they have. Let's just say they have Joe Alt as the 4th player or 5th player in their draft, and they're at 9, and he's staring them in their face. They're probably not going to do it. I don't think Alt will be there anyway.
There's not with the Giants in front, not with New England in front, not with the Chargers in front. The teams in front of us have terrible lines. So I think it's a big thing.
But Dallas Turner. I don't think Alt's there. Brock Bowers is going to be a name that's going to be thrown around. Adunze, Malik Neighbors. Now I think Cars. I think you're on the same page as that. Malik, excuse me. Malik Neighbors is my wide receiver 2. I have him above Adunze. Phil has Adunze 2. Ryan, are you in agreement there? Or you?
Yeah. Neighbors 2, Adunze 3.
Yep,
but it's close. They're good.
It's close.
It's close.
It's you can't go wrong really with any of them. I do like the thought of the compliment of how Adunze really complements what DJ Moore does. I mean, they're two.
That's the biggest issue with the Odunze or with the neighbors thing is physically they're very similar. Odunze gives you more like that T. Higgins, Jamar Chase kind of difference in body.
It's a good comp.
Yep. But again, there's legitimate comps out there for neighbors saying that he's Jamar Chase, and I don't give a shit if he's
not making it past 5.
No, I don't think he's. I would be shocked if he got to 9 too. But those are the names kind of in a nutshell. I know that the UCLA pass rusher everybody loves, man. Medicals, Cars and I talked about this on Cars Keys. You start talking about a neck. That's and again
neck on defensive line.
And I think you can bring quarterback into this. What's the number one issue with Penix? Injury. Did anybody see him walking off the field the other night?
He looked like a 40-year-old man.
It was hard to watch. So it's going to be interesting. But Jeff, thank you for the $5 super chat. But that's kind of the names, and I know you're a patron, so we're gonna have probably 1,000,001. Cars has agreed to do 3 mock drafts a day leading up to the draft. So
guys, I have to spend a lot more time with my family. It's really important that I do so. So I'm only going to do 7 a day and do a lot more live chats. So
I should have got that Steph video ready. I'm Twan 2, $10. Green Bay exposed. We need a free safety that can tackle.
Yep.
You ain't kidding there.
That's a need.
Need more talent on the D line and O line. Better second half offensive adjustments. Watching how quick Green Bay had the ball out, exposed what our offense lacks. Totally agree.
Quick
game for us is to screens.
Yep. You gotta get a running mate for Montez Sweat. I mean, clearly. Yeah.
And let's not lie, right? Josh Allen is probably going to be available. Brian Burns is probably going to be available. When you free up money from letting Whitehair and Eddie go, you've got room to make, Jalen plus 2 other names.
There's the Jets edge that had the breakout year. That we were talking, Huff, that you're talking about trading for over at the beginning of the year. So
Yep. I think
Daniil Hunter is another name that would draw a lot of interest.
I think he's going to draw a lot but he's 30 right now, correct?
Yeah, he's a 3-year deal guy. 2 of them
Yeah.
guaranteed heavy, but yes.
Yep. But that's, I don't know. I would be, I mean, obviously Josh Allen is going to be more expensive because of the age, but I guess I wouldn't complain.
But if you draft a quarterback, you almost sort of have to do a wide receiver because you're going into next year that the only guys under contract are DJ,
and the
Tyler Scott, and Velus Jones. That's it.
Yeah, that room needs a lot of help.
And say what you want. I think we all talked about it Sunday. EQ has earned himself another 1 year
Absolutely.
deal here.
Yeah. Give him that same deal. I'm all aboard.
And I'll tell you right now, another guy that I'm bringing back, and I don't care what his age is, I'm bringing back the tight end.
Tanyan,
Mercedes,
Tanyan and Lewis. I would bring both back. Unless we do Bowers, I would bring Tanyan back.
But I mean, even then, it's on a Mercedes Lewis or anything like that, or Tanyan. You're giving him a 1 year deal, and if you have to eat it, you eat it. You bring in Bowers, and you move off of one of those guys. But
absolutely.
I think we kind of talked about this. JR ain't going 199. I'm just not on Eric Bieniemy.
If you are a fan of the run game, you are not a fan of Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, go look at the Bear. T3P wanted us to talk about the Washington game when Justin threw, had a great statistical game. Go look at Sam Howell, and what was it? 5 minutes into the second quarter, they never ran
the ball again.
Not once.
I mean, that's
34 consecutive throws or something.
That's bonkers. All right,
James.
James.
Wait, real quick. What are the chances T3P actually gives you his info?
Oh, he won't.
What are the odds of that? Less than Justin Fields coming back, or more? What do you think?
Yes,
well,
0.0.
Let me see. There's more of a chance of him getting 11 views on his next show than me getting his info. He keeps on saying in the chat that I blocked him on Twitter. I block porn bots on Twitter.
Not as much these days, but
that's right.
A little less aggressively than we used to. But
Cars is supposed to give me that his coworker's grandmother's number.
Listen,
poor James knows super chat got put up, and we started about banging grandmas. But James, $5. How do you guys feel about a trade back for Bo Nix? Oregon coaches talk about him running team meetings, almost being another coach. I'm not in on that. And Bo, I believe, is a older prospect too, correct?
I think he's 23, 24, I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah, he's going to be 24 on my son's birthday, actually. February 25th, he'll be 24 years
You don't
old.
have a son anymore, just so you remember.
He's sold.
Yeah, that's right. We did. We traded him to New York for a quarterback for
that's right.
Thanks, Gettleman.
But I'm just not in on Nix, and I think and I'm not saying that he doesn't have a future in the NFL, but sometimes
he's a second round guy you take a flyer on, right? Like that's the type of profile he is.
And when you say he's a second rounder, that means there can be a team saying, "Oh, we want him in round 2, but we'll take him in round 1 to get that 5th year option."
Just like the Pittsburgh thing. Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So there's that one. Santiago, $5. Any good quarterbacks next draft? Nope. We can get a haul this year, trade Fields next year. I don't know. Just about. You're not going to have the number 1 pick next year.
No.
You're going to give up more. And the hard part is you're going to give up more than what you get, because if you add more talent and the NFC North is as bad as I think it's going to be, because look at how bad Detroit has really started to crumble a little bit, and Minnesota is going to have to start over, and Green Bay is not as talented, I think, as their defense continues to be terrible. If you're sitting in the 20s and you've got to move up to a top 5 pick, like, you are going to overpay out the wazoo, and no one's going to take your call at number 1.
Right. All right. What do we got? Peter Corey, $7.99, 47-year-old Aussie, been a Bears fan for 30 years. Only witnessed 1 Super Bowl loss in that time. Obviously, I love watching Justin, but a move needs to be made. Right there with you, bro. Absolutely. From way down under. Haven't been there in a while either. Anyways, James, $105. Any thoughts on Washington University, Brian Grubbs? Yeah. Not right now. I'm not. Yeah. Go ahead.
College guys, I really worry about because of how different the game is. And yes, we're starting to absorb more and more spread looks and spread formation portions in, but they are a portion of the offense and not the entirety. It gives me certain major pause of someone who hasn't really spent a lot of time on a professional staff.
All right. I was just reading the DM there. I was totally paying attention to you, Cars, I promise.
You've never listened to me a single time. It's fine.
Trumpy Bear, $2. Josh McDaniels did a good job with Mac Jones. Yeah, I don't think he's.
And what did he do in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I don't think he's in play here at all. Our guy Kerry Franklin is back. Is there anything Bajik can do to strengthen his arm for deep? Yep. His exit interview was all about how he's going to work to get better as a quarterback. P.S. Get better soon, DDP. Yeah, there used to be a sentiment out there that you could not improve your arm strength, and Tom Brady blew that out of the fucking water.
And Brock Purdy is exclamation pointed that one as well.
Remember, even Rodgers improved his arm strength.
Oh, yeah. When he first came in, there was legitimate people that were questioning his arm strength. I mean, he had one of the best arms in the NFL. I mean, fuck, Jimmy Kimmel would even agree with that, I think, probably at this point. Kevin Chiana, if we draft Caleb, who is your ideal center? Does it have to be a vet? Listen, if there's a center there, I'm where you're drafted. I know you don't have a second rounder right now, but
most of them aren't second round guys.
No,
they're third, fourth round. Yeah.
If I went out and signed a vet center, not for a crazy deal, just for a vet presence there, that is not stopping me from drafting a center.
You'll do both. You'll double down.
Yeah. So they have. I mean, to me, that is a top priority. And if you're hitching your wagon to Justin, if you're hitching your wagon to Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, whomever, it's got to be a priority. You have to settle
nothing
that.
Kills an offense more than interior pass rush.
Adrian Matu, $2. I heard the Falcons want to trade the 8th pick for Fields. Yeah, we kind of shot that down. That was Mel Kiper Jr. We're not really putting too much faith in this.
Unless it's Bill Tobin Jr. That's his source. He's not really getting anywhere on that one.
Policus, $5. Cars and Shane. I'm super excited about Waldron and Caleb. Can you explain why Waldron means drafting Caleb is more likely than keeping Justin? I mean, I can honestly see both. I mean, if they sign,
he loves
slants.
He loves timing routes.
Yeah,
he's a big timing route guy.
That's the big thing against. But you can kind of see if he got Geno to where, that was you remember the one guy that you pointed out that unlocked it. So I can kind of, to me, there's a pathway to both. But when you're talking timing, precision routes, quick game, that doesn't scream Justin Fields at all.
Yep, correct.
That part of it. You would agree, Ryan, on that?
Yep.
God, this show is so much better than every other one that we've seen. I don't know what it is.
Still going to go long. I thought I was going to get out of here at 10 o'clock. You fuckers.
I told you I was going to just long win this thing and not let Ryan talk.
Can't see your comment, bud. So put it in the chat and we'll try to get it back up there. Man, Grumpy Bear's a busy man tonight, spending all his cash on keeping it $105. The Bears draft Caleb Williams. Maybe they draft Brendan Rice, wide receiver, USC, the son of Jerry Rice. Teammates. I mean, you saw CJ Stroud say that he wanted Tank Dell. They created that bond in the build up to the draft, and he's not a guy that you're taking early. That's
Right.
for sure. But
the
double up,
double dip,
yeah,
I think the double dip at wide receiver,
and
for sure.
Ryan Poles. I think we talked about this last night too. Ryan Poles he's done it in both of his drafts.
Yeah.
Never go to a restaurant with him because he'll always double dip.
Kevin Shannon back. Who do you want at center to be with Caleb? Do we need a vet? I think we just kind of talked about that, and I think the kid from Miami, from the Dolphins that got hurt, I think Connor Williams would have been an interesting name.
Yeah,
he kind of fits in that age frame of growth that you want to move forward with. And listen, don't forget what Ryan Poles did last year. You got a ton of money, and they went out, and one of the youngest guys available in free agency was Tremaine Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole bunch of upside there. You don't go out. That's my point in saying, like, with the pass rusher for Minnesota, is I think you limit your risk for, upside, obviously, with a guy like that, because he's 30 plus already. So if I'm gonna gamble, I'm gonna gamble on a young guy with upside all day long,
every time.
Yep, they did it with Tremaine, and you just
27 and younger.
Yep,
for most
I feel
signings.
like you limit your risk in a minefield that is NFL free agency. Bill Wagner back. How much does Poles' decision to roll with Flus impact your feelings about Poles being the right GM moving forward? I'm rattled. I'm right there with you, man. I am right there with you, and it makes me have a different outlook on. I got sick of hearing Kevin Warren keep referring to the Rams, and then he's like, we did it in Minnesota. Well, what the fuck did you win in Minnesota? Nothing. I said that live on air. I don't want to hear that as that's what we did there. I mean, Jesus,
you didn't even win consistently in Minnesota. I would take it at least if you won. You had this 5-year stretch where you're 10 wins plus. You never did that.
Yep,
they're not great examples.
Isaac Siegel, top free agent wide receiver. T. Higgins.
It's got to be Higgins.
Yeah. And so, again, poker game comes into this. Cars, I think you and I talked about this, where I think your pathway to another wide receiver is draft, not free agency, because are you going to go out and if you go out and pay T. Higgins, he's coming in making more money than DJ Moore. And that, listen, these guys are alphas, and that I have a little bit of faith in DJ that he's not going to. Yeah. No, absolutely. I can't bring a guy into this locker room my first full off season with DJ Moore, and I'm going to say to him, we may be moving off the quarterback that you want, and oh yeah, guess what? By the way, I'm paying a guy at your position more money.
Yeah,
I think
who is injured and has never had the season that you just put up.
That's luck. Why to me it's to Ryan's point, it's a pathway to double dip in the draft. When I say double dip, I'm not talking about. I think it was Schmitz again saying, it's like let's do Marvin Harrison and a Dunze. No, you don't. That's just dumb.
No, but you've got to, right? The room is barren. You've got to fill in those spots. But it's the same issue with McLaurin, right? You're going to trade for a guy who's not as good, who's going to be making $11 million more, and give him the same basic value as DJ Moore. It just doesn't work. Look good.
Wayne Bender, $5. What offense you guys think would be the best fit for Caleb Williams? You think he is talented enough? Yes, I do. Yeah. I think he fits any offense day one. He is a better passer right now, day one, more advanced passer than Justin Fields is, who's just completed his third year in the NFL. And I don't think that that's a wild statement to make.
No.
I think you can play in any of them. We're just about through these. Robert Lee, $10. Draft Williams number 1, move up from 9 to 3, give up future draft capital. See, this is where to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I can't listen. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fantastic fucking prospect. Love him. I also love Malik Neighbors. I also love Roma Dunze. So then you have to play. This takes you back to 2017 with Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson and with Patrick Mahomes. The Bears
that conviction
had such a value on Mitch that they had to move from 3 to 2 to secure him with even if he had went number 2, you still had Watson and Mahomes on the board, and Mahomes was their QB2.
Yep.
But they had such a huge variance in, where they had these guys ranked that they gave up those assets. Marvin Harrison to me is wide receiver 1 all day long. I don't think there's such a massive gap.
The better value would be to go to 5 for Neighbors.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. And when you're talking about giving up future assets for a wide receiver, yeah, I can't.
That's a minefield.
Yep.
It is.
Yep. Absolutely. Tom Boson, guy Nick Saban retirement thoughts. Yeah. And
Poor Ryan had to basically like coddle Shane today all by himself. It was pretty messy for a little while.
See,
so
they
if
were
we can
putting
just
the little Debbie oatmeal cookies on his statue because he eats 2 of them every morning for breakfast. They're putting them on his statue. I have a very close friend that's obviously he's a season ticket holder down there, and he's a booster to Alabama. Sent me a text and said that Nick was very against the portal and the NIL stuff. And as a 72-year-old guy, you can kind of listen. Alabama, you're used to just saying, "Hey, we're Alabama. You want to come here and win a championship?
come talk to me in front of my trophies."
Right,
Yeah.
right. You want to see my rings, and things change when there's money involved completely. So I had kind of gotten a little bit of a heads up that it was a big bone of contention with Nick. So I'm not shocked. Am I happy that he's gone? No, but I'm also kind of excited and interested to see where it's going to go. Sounds like
I'm just glad that Dabo Sweeney, the Dabo stuff has died out because
3 or 4 years ago, that would have been the guy.
Yeah.
And because he's from there, he played there, his wife is from there, his wife's father is a booster in Alabama, so that whole thing there. But it really, all signs are pointing to Oregon and Dan Lanning. Yep. So and then it's going to be a whole different era. I mean, I think he's 35 or 36 years old. $20 million buyout, which I mean, $20 million, they're pulling that out of their couch cushions all day long. They're going to, I'm not just saying this, guys, because I'm an Alabama fan. I know you guys are going to give me shit, but money's not going to be a factor for Alabama. Let's just be honest. And
Boosters paid off
Yeah.
Saban's $12 million home and pay his property taxes year in, year out. And it's not like he doesn't get paid on top of it. But if you win,
Nick Saban got paid $19,700 per day, every day since 2007 in Alabama. It's like $120 million.
We need him to ask some Patreon questions.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be interesting. It's obviously a new era. And actually, though, the only one other nugget that I got is they weren't interested in the shitty coach in Notre Dame. So take that for what it's worth. I'm kidding.
Woo.
I'm just trying to fire up the Notre Dame guys. Grumpy Bear spending that paycheck over here. Josh McDaniels was a very successful OC, not as a head coach. Big difference, Mr. Cars.
Who called the plays? So he was still OC while HC. How much better has that offense looked with him not calling the plays? How much better did Denver's offense look when he was fired as head coach? How much better did it look every time that he was under Bill Belichick? Starting to get a little bit of an idea of who he is as a play caller.
Yep, absolutely. So that got us through that, but I think we can start heading down the road to wrapping this up, guys. But one just real quick thing that I want to bring up is Ryan Poles made about as strong a statement as you can make for Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
And I have pivoted my thought process on that. I've shared it on this show a few times. I wasn't all in on giving Jalen his contract because I wanted to see him go out there and prove it. You want to see the ball production. He went out
And
there,
they did it.
he proved it, and you cannot tell me we did not miss him on Sunday versus Green Bay. He's 24
it's crazy
years
to
old.
think how we would have been in that game better if he was there. Yeah, it's weird.
He probably picks off that one pass.
Yes.
Yep.
Charles Smith, yeah.
Yep.
So what does an extension look like then? What do you think?
I think you're 19.5. You're starting at, right?
I think you're looking minimally probably 590, 595 in that range is probably what it would be.
Yep.
With about 30 plus of it guaranteed.
And don't forget, Ryan Poles said that, which was a strong statement. And Jalen Johnson was on the score with his weekly drop. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about it, and he goes, "Oh no, I want to be here. Yeah, I expect.
And I expect it.
Something's going to get done. I want to be back."
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody saw the video of when they announced to them that they're making Pro Bowls. That was significant.
Oh yeah.
The fact that he said I appreciate you absolutely does.
And it wasn't just a quick bro hug.
Can someone kick Logan Frost out of the chat, please? Just kick Logan Frost out. Block him, get rid of him. I don't want to see that anymore. Get out.
Sanborn had a hell of a missed tackle though on that first down. I love that.
And all 12 of his snaps, what a difference maker. Get him out of my chat now.
But I thought that was I was glad that he got asked that, and I'm glad that Ryan Poles, for a guy that doesn't want to talk about negotiations, that's
he opened the paycheck a little bit more every time he does.
And Jalen deserves it. 24 years old. You move forward with this secondary, and you don't have to worry about Gordon yet or Brisker. Yeah.
What was the stat that someone said? The QB rating against him was like 33.6, and if you threw the ball into the dirt every play, it would be like 35.
Yeah.
So that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. So he put his nuts on the line and he bet on himself, and that's what you want from these guys. Go out there, believe in yourself, and if you're a corner that doesn't believe in yourself, you're going to be a shitty corner.
Man.
It's
you have to have Phil Atoshin. I should be the head coach of the Chicago Bears confidence playing that position for sure.
Got one more here. Robert Lee, $5. Will we draft a player at number 1 or will we trade the pick? What do you guys think? I think we're drafting Caleb Williams if he checks out, as a leader, as a man. And Albert Breer co-signed and said everybody that he's talked to on staff, players, love him, big but, he also brought up the father.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to be the thing that needed to be checked out because Caleb's father is involved in just about everything that he does. So I don't know if everybody is aware, but there's private investigators already out there that are paid by the Chicago Bears that are tracking, following, talking to people in Drake May's world, in Caleb Williams' world, all of these guys. And,
just look at any restaurant you go to and look for reservations for Jim McMahon, Mike Ditka.
There's a Toyota Corolla in there. Yeah. Run.
Yes.
But, yeah, and it's I just can't in any world see where if he checks out as the leader, where you don't be like, holy shit, we were really lucky to get this pick gifted to us. And Dan Weeder brought up a great point. People are talking about right there, giving up giving up future assets for a wide receiver. Well, let's just say you move forward with Justin and it doesn't work out. So you have to give those future assets up for a quarterback. So it's the 120% rule where you're going to be overpaying because it's for a quarterback. You were gifted this, and all you did was give up the right to draft Bryce Young. That was it. And you were gifted
Shane,
the number 1 overall pick.
How much worse does it get if Caleb Williams hits? So if the Bears trade out and Caleb Williams hits,
you're fired.
But I mean, like if you go to try to trade for a quarterback, the Tua move, push it up. The Josh Allen move moved all of those values up. If you trade out and Caleb Williams hits, that value is going to go up even more.
Yep. And Hendricks, I just keep on trying to. You're the 3rd largest market in the world, and if you all you have to do here is come here and win, and people can tell me I'm crazy. You're the starting quarterback in Chicago and you win. Guess what? Here's the list: Michael Jordan, then you.
Well, and
that's the list.
But this all started off from a rumor that has been disproven multiple times, just like the ownership. This all came. The only team he has said he refused to play for, has told people, has been Arizona, and that is because of his relationship with Lincoln Riley and Lincoln Riley's relationship to Kyler Murray.
Yep.
That is, and how Kyler Murray has been treated the entire time. That is the difference. And I hate to do this. I got to drop because my phone is going to die, and I got to probably go see my kids. But
just real quick, we have one more super chat from our guy here, Jim Larson. That's for everybody. Sorry for the late super chat. You guys are amazing. Thanks for keeping us entertained and informed. And as he always says, fuck Greg Braggs or Green Bay, whatever.
Great. I like your shot much better. Cherie, I expect a full written apology in the morning for my child. So if you can make sure you get that to me, I appreciate it. Wonderful to see all of you again. I'm going to go be on vacation now. So I will talk to you all later.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Later, buddy.
See ya.
Oh, I will.
Fuck that guy, right?
Where is he? We didn't even
Florida.
Florida. Where in Florida?
Dustin Reagan Padilla's shed, it looked like.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But hey, it's 11:02. You know what? This show is one big shout out, so we don't need to. Phil's probably going to have a, aneurysm by not us not doing a shout out, but I don't think we need to. I've been on air too long today and worked all day. I know Cherie's probably got to go watch the national title game over for the 27th time already. But Ryan, love having you on. Glad you.
Great job. Yeah, good job.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ryan.
The man, you want to give us a quick update on our guy?
Oh, you know what? He's doing good. He had to get over the flu.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And it's everywhere and can't escape it. But that took him down. That's probably about as sick as he's been. And he's had COVID and all that stuff. But it was pretty rough on him. But he's better now. He's, running around.
Did his dad getting sick of charging that battery in the Escalade?
Yeah. You know what? We got him that Chevy Silverado for Christmas. One of those big drivable ones.
Right.
We had it in the house just for the first few days after Christmas, just so he could get used to it. Because he didn't know what to do with it at first, but we got him driving it. And he decided to take off under the kitchen table, about decapitated himself. So he hasn't been on it since. We're working on it. We put it outside now. So
I bought my daughter a Jeep like that, and it's got the big old wheels on it. And she used it the day of her birthday is June 3rd. And that was when she turned 2, and she owned that, and she wants nothing to do with it. And of course, I'm up here in New York, so it was like 50 degrees here today. We got snow yesterday, and then it was 50 today. But you take that outside with her, and she is petrified of it all of a sudden. And she's never, you know, ran her head into the dining room table or anything like that. And it's always funny. We back into I'm a guy that backs into my garage. Everybody makes fun of me for doing that, but I do. And I back into the garage, and in the reverse cam in my Jeep, she'll see it because we'll back right up to it. And the whole time she's like, Daddy, no Jeep. I don't want to get my Jeep. Daddy, no Jeep. Wants nothing to do with it. But yeah. Oh, Ryan was talking about his son, Spencer. That was our shout out segment, the Spencer Strong segment. That's where that all started. So he's our guy. So it's awesome.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great.
Love to hear it. And how's your heard you got a new disposal that's working good?
It's fine. It's rough. It's good. Thanks for sharing that story. Appreciate it.
Don't want you to get in trouble. She's not watching, is she?
No.
All right. She's probably sleeping.
She is.
But all right, let's get out of here. Cherie, do you want to talk any more smack about your Big Blue?
No, just hail to the victors. Go
I'm
Blue.
happy for you, Cherie. I'm happy for you.
Cherie's got to give me credit. I was very nice. Her team beat my team. I wasn't a smarmy little bitch.
No.
The only thing I sent her in HL, the beginning of the fourth quarter, I sent them the fourth quarter sign to, strap up and buckle up and get ready for a title, and they sure did. So
it was. I didn't think they were gonna pull out the way they did, but you know what? Penix, I know I heard y'all talking about it earlier, and I don't want to keep y'all on too long, but yeah, Penix was hurt. It was kind of rough watching him struggle.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, but it's talented dude. But man, I can't go into hitching my wagon to a guy that's had 2 ACLs and 2 shoulder surgeries, and then you play in the biggest collegiate game of your life, and you're walking off the field like a 75-year-old man that's just had hip replacement. That's what he looked like walking off the field. It was hard.
Yeah, he's already an older prospect too.
Yeah, 24 years old. Yep. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. But I think we got all of them. Thank you for everybody in your super chats. We love you guys. Actually, send out some positive thoughts to our guy DDP, because I know when Phil's not on the phone or not texting at least 50 people at the same time, something's wrong. And I was talking to Jim earlier, and he's like, "How's he doing?"
That means he's sleeping.
Well, yeah, I'm like, "How's he doing?" Or Jim's like, "How is he feeling?" I'm like, "Well, can't be good," because I texted him like 4 times last night and like 4 times today, and I tried calling him and he's not answering. So I did get a text from him. He's like, "Bro, I feel like I'm fucking dying." He's like, "This is the sickest I've ever been." So he's going through it, but season's over. As much as I hate to say it and think about it, I did say to my son when the Bears game was over, I'm like, I actually took a big breath and was like, kind of
Sundays can be stress free.
Kind of it's hard in this fucking place where I live, but story for another day. Sorry, sure. But we're almost out of there. So yeah, we'll see. But I was just glad the season's over. Now we can shift our focus to the off season. Was hoping it was going to be with Cherie's coach, but that's
we
not
all
happening either. Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, hey, I think we're gonna get out of here.
Let's do it for Cherie. Ready? Who's got it better than us?
Nobody, and none of y'all had to join me.
There you go. Yep.
Here we
We're
go.
out of here.
I love Cherie's mom.
Yeah, we all do, right, Cherie?
Yeah, she all right.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
That's the guy I like.
There you go. Cherie makes me send her that clip. She's like, "Can you put it on repeat and have it repeat like for 7 minutes?" And I'm like, "Cherie, Jesus, we're crazy." But all right, thank you guys. Keep it at 100. We're gonna wrap it up, and don't forget, next week we're gonna see this guy.
Here is what the Tape Never Lies Network means to me. Now, there's a lot of sites out there, a lot of fan sites and all that stuff, but there are few, if any, that matches the knowledge, the wisdom, and the charisma of the Tape Never Lies Network. It is what I rely upon each and every week to find out what's going on with our Chicago Bears. Listen, I like the Sick Podcast. It's fine. Its host is okay. But for me, the money site is the Tape Never Lies Network. Watch it.
Good.